To match week number 9 in the HWBSL Super League. Now we are going to be completing it with some mouth-watering action. It is a double-header coming to you live and direct from Gobble Park Stadium out in Bethlehem. Umdlalo wethu wanamhlanje wokuqala, we will see Tsunami Queens up against Durban Ladies. Kanti siyazi ukuthi kulo mdlalo lona last year in the season there was a win for Tsunami as well as a draw, but a quick look at the weather conditions out in Bethlehem today. We are sitting at 15 degrees Celsius, humidity levels at 33%, and there is a wind coming at 15 kilometers an hour. It is quite a strong wind, so it will be interesting to see how it affects the teams from both a tactical as well as a technical point of view. But as you can see, we are getting ready to get this encounter underway. The pitch behind me, beautifully manicured. It's looking nice and green and really sets the tone for what promises to be 90 minutes of nothing but exciting football in this encounter. Looking at the home side here today, Tsunami Queens, they are yet to register a win in the league so far. Season so far, they've managed to only secure themselves 2 points, meaning that they've drawn 2 of those encounters, and the 6 of those encounters have ended in a loss for the team. So Coach Thabiso Mofokeng will really be looking here today to secure their first 3 points. But he does come into this encounter with without some of his key players in Mofokeng as well as Umuloti, a goalkeeper who was red carded in their midweek encounter. But he is certain that he may be able to get 3 points here today. And then we look at the visiting team, Durban Ladies. They are currently sitting number 12 on the log with a total of 9 points. Now, those 9 points came in 3 back-to-back wins. This is, of course, before they lost against UJ midweek with that 2-1 loss. So both teams, namhlanje, really just looking to put themselves together and make sure that they can get some points on that log standing. But for now, though, let's catch up with both coaches from the 2 teams and hear how they're looking to line up in this encounter and how they plan to secure 3 points for their respective teams. Coach Thabiso Mofokeng joins us now of Tsunami Queens. Coach, coming into lo mdlalo wanamhlanje, siyazi ukuthi there's a lot of pressure on the team, but more importantly is the fact ukuthi this season there is relegation. So how sheba ki ing the problems at Tsunami that you've encountered so far, and how do you fix those problems in your game against Durban Ladies to secure 3 points?
The problems are one ngata. They didn't take looks thing. It's a one that get along a whole, but I last minutes in consider in the whole. So you only look staying you about the ground there. Like that looks like a team.
Oh, you look at Juan problem coach Kajo. Look at Juan.
Kau dulu lagi buat lebih, nak jouer tu orang nak gua besok lagi. 70 minutes yang, oh ya, 90 minutes, kita nak gua besok gua hulu kan. Pat untuk football ni aku nak mana. Kita mau team milo khachalang, then resta do consider goals.
Okay, arbo ka formation e le tlo e berekisa ka je go le strategy sa lona ho kena ko game e gore le tla jang formation. Are you on the attack, are you on the defense, and why?
Re tlo attack birbele re defend, and then re tlo attack di back star rona holo. One get a strong holo, and then bolo goes get cross goosey holo banani. The Bashiman in the Holo holo. My in an accessibility for today. Yeah, that to score.
And then formation ya lona
3-5-2.
How na coach today little for man at 3 points eh?
You're not 3 for man. My good.
Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
We are now joined by the coach of Durban Ladies, Pepelo Makaya. Coach, namhlanje mangena kulo mdlalo against Tsunami Queens. Ungathi mhlambe i-tactical approach yenu izobime kanjani njengoba sazi nokuthi nibuya from a 2-1 loss against UJ njengoba endlala ekhaya ngeviki edlule.
Ngibingelele siswami. Approach yethu won't be different. We're going for attack as usual. Our formation is 3-5-2, which is the attacking formation. So from the word go, siyaya.
Yeah. Coach, week number 9 manje in terms of the competition, I'm sure kulesikhathi senibonile ukuthi inkinga zenu zikuphi as a team. Ungathi mhlambe yiziphi inkinga nizihighlightile enizoqala ukuzama ukuzilungisa namhlanje ukuze nikwazi ukuthola lamaphuzu amathathu?
Inkinga zikhona, but azalikho ikhaya ngena inkinga, but by the time goes on konke kuyalunga. So siyalungisa kancane inkinga ukuthi ama game now and now, so sizama ukuthi silungise, but silungisa ngegame inkinga esinayo. But ke sibonile inkinga silungisile hopefully today, so wawubona ama-results okulungisa.
And then in terms of lining up, team is obime kanjani ama changes mhlawumbe wayenzayo from your last starting 11 nezathu sala ama changes?
We have 2 subs eswenzile, which is our first, because thola ama-injury kulabo bantu which are called nathi la kwi-squad, our left wing back, then our centre forward. Ilawo ama-changes eswenzile. The rest remains the same.
Remains the same? Good luck, coach.
Siyabonga kakhulu.
All right, of course it is Tsunami Queens up against Durban Ladies. Now you will remember last season Tsunami only won 2 encounters. One of those was a 3-2 victory against the team they're coming up against today, with the corresponding fixture in that ending off in a 1-1 draw. So it will be a good confidence booster for Tsunami Queens in this home encounter. It's another game and another day, and we'll see who will walk away victorious. We now take you through to Tulisi Lemia as well as Piwem Konza and commentary to take us through the first 45 of this encounter.
And after the comings and goings of match week 8, it was very much a similar story for both Tsunami Queens and Durban Ladies in their respective campaigns. Tsunami Queens still occupying 14th after their stalemate against fellow relegation contenders Golden Ladies. Durban Ladies still sit relatively comfortably in 12th despite their disappointing showing against HWBSL, and they'll be hoping to avoid getting sucked into that relegation scrap with a win away from home today. A very warm welcome to you as we approach the penultimate encounter for this weekend's action. It's the Tsunami Queens taking on Durban Ladies. As you can see now, the home side making their way onto the field of battle, shortly joined behind by the visiting side traveling all the way from Durban. So it might be conditions that they're not exactly used to, but nonetheless they'll be hoping to escape with a very impressive win today. As you can see, Tsunami Queens in that famous blue strip, their home kit, and Durban in a changed kit there, the black and white. Just a couple of minutes away from kickoff here at Global Park. Such an exciting encounter expected, with both teams lining up in similar fashion. So we'll just have to wait and see if just the pictures taken before kickoff. It's a must win for both these teams. As I mentioned, the Durban Ladies will have to bounce back after their rather disappointing showing against HWBSL. They did lead half-time against the side from Johannesburg, but let that lead slip in the second half. So they'll be hoping for a more complete performance from minute 1 to 90. As we just have a look at the match officials here this afternoon. Somtsai Kwandile, the match official, the whistle in her mouth here this morning, the early kickoff. And the second encounter is expected to take place at the same stadium here at Global Park. Bloemfontein Celtic taking on my Indies just a little bit later on. But for now, our attention remains on Tsunami Queens versus Durban Ladies as we just have a look at that lineup. Butumilo Mulotsi starting in goal once more, and the captain getting so comfortable in the defense, Pulani Nzapeza, so she'll be looking to lead from the front today.
la eGold Park Stadium ke lenkundla uzoyazi ke kakhulu ke ngoba ke bedlala kakhulu ke iFree State Stars. Uyabona ke la iDurban Ladies okuyiqembu ke lona ke elivakashile emapalini, ungcobo uthandeka okhona ke njenga ke no goalkeeper, okhona futhi ke naye ke uJele okuyena ke abamthembile ukuthi ashaye ke amagoli njengoba ngomdlalo ke odlule ngesikhathi ke beshawa ke UJ oyena ke oshaye ke lelo goli badlala ke i352.
Obviously, the coaches are talking about the formation needs to give them the hybrid functions and effectiveness, both defending and attacking simultaneously. So both teams, coaches are worried about how they defend. They've been letting goals in the last minute of the games. So today it's about the mental toughness. It's an opportunity for Durban Ladies to collect maximum point. But Tsunami also, during the week, they've missed about 15 clear-cut chances. So the coach is happy with how they attack. He's worried about when they defend. Remember, they're using 3-5-2, so it's about the phase of the formation. It changes when they defend, which becomes to 5-3-2.
In contrast to the top of the table clash we witnessed yesterday between JVW and Sundowns, this game presents itself as an opportunity for both teams to get some breathing room away from that dreaded relegation zone, as we can see the Durban Ladies side in their huddle just minutes away from kickoff. Tsunami Queens, the home side, ready to get down and dirty. Tsunami Queens do have their head just above the water thanks to their superior goal difference, but the 3 points today are imperative if they wish to extend their stay here in the HWBSL Super League next season. Durban Ladies have established a strong position in mid-table, being 7 points clear off the drop, but a visit today to Global Park does yield a chance to boost themselves up the HWBSL Super League table. The referee just having his final word to both the captains there, Nchiza as well as Nzapeza. And it looks like we are underway just shortly. Just referee is making her final checks. And it looks like we are underway, and so yet another clash with so much significance and consequence in the HWBSL Super League. Tsunami Queens off to a very good start, getting on the ball relatively early out here to the right-hand flank. Getting their first feel of the ball here, Tsunami Queens really taking their time, but it seems like they've gone through here. There's a shot on goal. Eventually just taking a stumble there when the goal was beckoning. But Durban Ladies eventually escaping away there. And finally getting their first taste of the ball. Tsunami Queens pressing really high early on. But a player down injured there in the box for Tsunami Queens, so they'll be hoping that it isn't too much of a worry. The referee now finally attending to that injured player. Really lively start to this encounter. Tsunami Queens on the front foot from the get-go, but now an injury might just set back the momentum they've gained here in the early seconds. As we just have a replay there. Looks like she went through on goal and maybe just kicking the ground there did Zweni. Clearly just missing the ball there and getting some taste of the grass there. And an early injury here, seems like it's her ankle that's just been twisted. Zweni, of course, a young and exciting striker for this Tsunami Queens team. Many locals here expect her to be a prolific striker as she approaches her career and as her career progresses.
Yeah, she works tirelessly. She plays that as a reference point for Tsunami, and she sits there as an out-and-out number 9. I think if you look at the work ethic from its side, it shows that the coach has been working on her so much, because she plays as a lone striker. Remember, playing as a lone striker, sometimes you need to be a target person. But in this instance, she completely missed the ball. I thought the referee, it was a good call from the left. She didn't give the foul in that situation. Just I think Zweni missed the ball completely.
Durban Queens eventually having to start all over here on the left-hand flank. Really taking their time, and it's punt forward here, making a run there, does the young fullback there, and eventually cutting it back. Almost there, and a chance now for Durban Ladies. Tsunami Queens scratching it away. After an impressive start, Durban Ladies responding very well after that early injury to Zweni, and maybe sensing some sort of a weakness in that Tsunami Queens defensive line, a defense that has leaked goals throughout the season. Now comes to Ndlela once more, cut back in field. She looked for Ndunga there, didn't quite find her in the midfield. Now Makanya finding her centre-back partner, Mahlawe, all the way back to the goalkeeper, of course, and Ngobo. Just finding some pass options here. And a lovely kick up field, quite a big size 12 boot she has on her, Jele. And just for a moment had a little bit of interest there in the long ball.
If you look at Tsunami, how they apply this themselves, they're using it.
Durban Lady just having a shot there and eventually going wide. so very close, and their first sight of goal going for Durban Ladies, but not quite managing to find the target there.
I was saying, Ray, Tsunami, they apply what I call a super low block with 7 defenders. They want to nullify any form of a threat that is going to be imposed by Durban Ladies. So you can see they're sitting on a super low block. They don't want any space behind their defense. But what's important is committing offensive numbers, more numbers when they attack, because on the side, Mlaba and Mukwena, they're going to be crucial in dealing with the spaces that they leave behind, because as a wing backs, you need to be able to do a double job. It's either you defend or attack, especially the side where center backs cannot go.
Both these teams opting for that 3-5-2 formation, using the wing backs. We'll just have to see which team gets the victory from the wing backs today. So it's a key area, and an area that might decide the outcome of this encounter. There's a long ball through there for the Durban Ladies. They might be through. Good defensive recovery there from Tsunami Queens, getting back, and it's a clap of hands there from Ndunge, slotting in from the right wing back position. As we mentioned, it's so important for these wing backs not only to defend, but to make themselves available in attack.
Available in attack, Ray, you're absolutely correct. I mean, but what's important is the overpopulation in the center forces the teams to play on the wide areas, because if you look at the numbers, center is 4 versus 4. So the midfielder is boxed, so it's always going to be challenging to find penetration in the midfield. The only progression is on the wide areas.
Makanya there journeying forwards. This time Durban Ladies applying the pressure on Tsunami Queens and eventually scratching it away out now to one of the right wing backs, but it's cut out by Ndlela. She's got some green grass ahead of her. The left wing back finally, does she get a crossing? She does. And the keeper there, quite a heavy collision, and it looks like she's out. You hope that she's okay. That's a horrific injury. Head-on collision across in there from Ndlela, and Butumelo Mlotsi putting her body on the line and suffering the consequences, as we can just see here.
An unfortunate situation. I mean, it's a collision on the head. Oh, hopefully she gets better. I mean, on the head with a knee. Oh, Mulotsi, hopefully she'll come back. Unintentional. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation.
Only had their eyes on the ball, but the knee just clinching the face of Butumelo Mlotsi, and I see there on the bench Kabai, the substitute keeper for Tsunami Queens, warming up.
Like I said, it's an unfortunate situation. Both players, their eyes were fixed on the ball. So unfortunately, Jella went straight with the knee, and it was unintentional. She was not going deliberately to hurt her. It's the name of the game. This game comes with these kind of injuries. Hopefully Mulotsi will get up.
But it does give us a chance to just recap on the league position of each side. I did mention Tsunami Queens just above that relegation zone, and they did suffer 2 red cards in their previous game. A change in that left centre-back position, Mazoi coming in, and so we'll just have to wait and see what the change of personnel can bring for this Tsunami Queens side. As I mentioned, it's a side that desperately craves a win, Simpiwe.
What's important is that, in fact, Ray, the trick is to find that balance, especially in defense and attack. With Tsunami, I see all the time they get caught. Concentration factor. Coach spoke about it in a pre-interview. He spoke about we lose concentration during the critical phase of the game. So it's important for them to apply themselves today. It's their home ground, and obviously everything favors them this side, because I think they are used to this kind of weather and humidity. So I believe it's going to be an interesting game. Both sides, they really need these 3 points today. But for Tsunami, they know it's very important to collect 3 points today.
Quite a lengthy stoppage here. We do expect this time to be added on once that 45-minute mark does pass. I did see Kabai going through her paces, so we probably do expect her to come into goal. So, how is it like for the substitute goalkeeper, your number 2 goalkeeper, coming in to find their feet in such an important encounter?
It's very difficult to come in for an injured player. Look at it. I mean, here, both players' eyes were fixed on the ball. It's an unfortunate situation. But with the head injury, the medics can take as much time as they can. They need to make sure she comes up. You can even see the tear in her eye. Hopefully she gets better. But for a sub to come in especially for an injured player, it's very difficult. Because also look at the moment, it's a critical phase of the game. It's 8 minutes in the game. So for a player, psychologically, he needs to prepare himself very well to come in, because sometimes the injury also affects the other players.
And just moments before, when he went down in the opposite box, Butumelo Mlotsi, the goalkeeper, instead of the striker, getting herself injured. Of course, not her own fault and not the fault of one of the Durban Ladies attackers. A bunch of medical staff in attendance. So lengthy stoppage, and I can see there the coach from the Tsunami Queens, Tabiso Mofokeng, just laying off his instructions to his troops there. What do you think might be going through the head of the coach then?
He's reminding the players that it's the early phase of the game. We need to keep the concentration level very, very high. It's an opportunity for him to also to give what we call a counter strategy. I mean, already he has seen how the opponents are set up and how they want to approach, approach the game. So it's an opportunity for him to outlay the counter strategy in terms of you can see how the opposition are playing. So we need to apply them ourselves in this form.
It's most certainly not a pleasant sight to see such a young and exciting goalkeeper out injured. We do wish her all the best. We do wish her a speedy recovery. All people in attendance here, before I hand off to Tuli, will be praying and hoping that Butumelo Molotsi can find her feet once more.
Uyabona ke la eGold Park njengamanje ke isimo ke sithanda ukuthi ke sibeke sibi sithanda ukuthi ke sibeke muncu njengoba ke sibona ke ugoalkeeper la ubuyitumelo omulotsi othinteke kabuhlungu ngempela, kodwa ke siyathemba ukuthi isimo sakhe ke esizoba ke engcono, kodwa ke umdlalo ke wona ke uzoqhubeka nje mangabe ke onompempe kanjalo ke nabo ke abosizo ke lokuqala ke sebesho ukuthi ukuphi ke okumele kwenzeke, noma ke uyakwazi ukuqhubeka ugoalkeeper noma ke kuzoba phoqa ke laphana ke abe Tsunami Queens umqeqeshi uThabiso Mofokeng ukuthi ke ashintshe ke ugoalkeeper, kodwa yena othinteke kabuhlungu ke ngempela njengoba ubona nje besahlezi ke naye ke laphana ke phansi. Yabona ke Botumelo Umlotsi goalkeeper ke ngempela ke osedlale cishe imidlalo ke isikhombisa kule season kule qembu ke layo ke Tsunami Queens une clean sheet eyodwa egameni ke elakhe, njengoba ke ubona nabo ke abalandeli ke ukuthi ke badangele imoya wabo ishone phansi ke emva kwesimo ke esisibonayo ke la, kodwa ke isimo sezulu la eGold Park kuyabanda njengoba ubona nje ihlahla ukuthi ke siyawishisa omoya ke ngempela ke mukhulu. Yabona ke lamaqembu ke eza ke kulomdlalo ngempela ke iTsunami Queens idonsa ke kanzima ngoba ke abayazi wini. Yabona ke mawubheka nje uyidonsa emuva la beqale khona, njengoba ke leliya bench ke lisalungisa ukuthi ke ikuphi ke abazokwenza. Uyabona ke iTsunami umdlalo wabo ke wokuqala ke bevula iyona ke isizini bashawa ke ngaye ke laphana ke 5-0 beshawa ke i-first touch, kodwa ke uNontsikelelo Zweni kulo mdlalo wathola ithuba lokuthi ashaya igoli iqala ke bethola ipenalty wasegeja, emva kwalokho avuleka amasango amagoli first touch yabuya ke yashaya ke 5 goals. Babuya ke futhi emdlalweni ke wesibili Tsunami Queens yaseke idlala ke neCall City Wizards, nakulo mdlalo futhi ke iyaguqa Tsunami Queens ngo-2-1. igoli ke layo lashawa ke uyena ke Matsiliso Omphatsiya yakora kuqala futhi kuloyo mdlalo iyona ke iTsunami Queens ngomzuzu nje wesibili base ke ebehamba ke phambili, kodwa ke emva kwalokho futhi baphinda ke bawadedela amagoli. Emva kwalokho base ke ebehlangana ke neVasco da Gama, iqembu elisha elifikayo ke kule season lase Cape Town, baphinda badliwa ngo-2-1. egoli ke lashawa ke uNontsikelelo Zweni. Uyabona ke namanje Mkhonza esimo ke ngempela ke sithanda ukuthi ke sibe nzima kakhulu lapha kuMulotsi.
Asikho sihle Thuli, Umlotsi ngathi uzophuma, uThabiso ngiyambona uprepare impepha zokuthi kungene i-second goalkeeper yakhe. I think Thuli sinefana sibeke kahle sitshela abalele emakhaya ku-important ukuthi ikhanda ngesilungu bathi it's precaution. Ekhanda ama-doctors okutshela ukuthi it's more dangerous than eqakaleni Thuli. So mangayibheka kule situation umlotsi ushayisane nojele ujele umshaya ngedolo but bebabeka ibhola boyithu
idolo ngempela ke langena ke lagcwala ke ekhanda lakhe ke umulotsi njengoba ke simbona ke namanje ke ukuthi ke usahlezi phansi isinto ziyabonakala ukuthi angeke aze akwazi ukuthi ke aqhubeke njengoba ke simbona ke goalkeeper enyakaza ke laphana ke kulona ke ibench layo ke laphana ke Tsunami Queens yabona ke kuzongena ke uDinewo Okabayi Adinewo Okabayi ngesikhathi ke bedlala ke umdlalo wokuqala uyena owaye evimbe kulo mdlalo ngesikhathi ke beshawa ngo-5-0 uyena ke njengoba sibona ukuthi uyalunga mkhonza ushintsho olumphoqayo umqeqeshi lolu ushintsho futhi oluza esikhathini esibucayi umdlalo uyaqala sekunesimo sithi ke shintsha ikakhulukazi ugoalkeeper iqembu elidonsa kanzima leli lilinyane lo goalkeeper walo
akukho njalo ukuthi uthola abo goalkeeper abaphuma egamini balimala Julie so I'm hoping ukuthi uKabayi umqondo usendaweni ekahle ngokungena especially for umdlali olimele so I think uThabiso is forced ukuthi ayenze lo shintsho lolu but uKabayi I think usespacini esi-right because igame iqeda ukuqala yes kuzoba nzima because fanele aqala settle kahle egamini and obviously fanele akhulume nama-defender sometimes ungena nje Julie unikane ngomlayeze egroundini unikane nge-information it also helps ukuthi usettle ube mnandi egamini
uyabona ke masibheka nje ukuthi ke yena ke uKabayi ugoalkeeper ke ngempela ke ozethembayo uyakwazi uorganize idefense yakhe ngiyathemba ukuthi ke njengoba ke ngene uyazi ukuthi ke isimo ngempela sibucayi eqenjini bahlezi ke laphana ke ku number 14 mobheka nje iloghi abayazi iwini banama draw amabili kuphela yabona ke manje isikhathi ke ngempela ke sokuthi isibonakalise iTsunami ukuthi i-character yabo ingakanani ngoba ngempela u3 points bayawudinga kodwa badlala neDurban Ladies ebhele yanyusa ukuzethemba baqale isizini badliwa imidlalo emithathu kulandelana emva kwalokho babuya ke bawina ke imidlalo ke emithathu ilandelana kodwa ke umdlalo wabo ogcina badliwe ngo2-1 iUJ nakhona futhi iDurban Ladies iyona eyadlala kangcono kuleyo mdlalo
isiZulu sithi siso somhambi singanganani singangento yenyoni iDurban Ladies I think for mina it's a team in transition a team eluza abadlali abaningi if ubheka they lose ama-player ku-UWC they lost ama players ku UJ so it tells ukuthi I team nayo in transition iTsunami coach ukhuluma ukuthi yes ability kona but bashoda ngalesa spillion it's important lesa spillion sokudlala kule league enkulu kangaka so ayikho enye indlela ezobafundisa ngaphandle ukuthi badlale ama games unfortunately umlotsi fanele ayisibhedlela manje because ikhanda ngishilo ngathi li dangerous kakhulu abodokotela njengathi so bazokutshela abadayi ikhanda li dangerous kakhulu
asemfisele nje okuhle kodwa ke ukuthi ke alulame ke ngempela la ugoalkeeper oboyitumelo omulotsi ke njengoba ke ngena uDinewo Okabayi ke ugoalkeeper reserve goalkeeper osukwini ke la namhlanje uyabona ke umdlalo manje ke uzoqhubeka njengoba ke iDurban Ladies ke sisho ukuthi ke iza kulomdlalo ukuzethemba kwayo kunyukile uyabona ke mawubheka bona ukuthi isizini ke bayiqale kanjani nabo ke badliwa ke lapha iyona ke iJBW yabadla ke ngo3-0 Sundowns yabadla ngo5-0 ekhaya babevule ke ngetanda base eyabadla ke ngo1-0 babuya ke bona bashaya ke ifirst touch ngo2-1 silindile Ngubane owayemgaqwe banyana akekho namhlanje kodwa ke uyena owashaya ke igoli kanjalo ke nosinothisiwe Jele namhlanje uyena ke abagadla ngayo ke laphana ke ephambili uJele bese kuthi ke omunye umdlalo badla ke iCall City Wizards ngo1-0 baphinda ke badla ke neVasco da Gama kulowo mdlalo iVasco yaxoxa umqeqeshi ngemuva kokuthi ke beshawa ke ngo1-0 igoli ke elashawa ke uShameni Mhlongo umdlalo manje uyaqhubeka not Durban Ladies and not Tsunami Queens Mpatsiya ofuna ke uzweni umdlali ke ngempela ke obalekile ke kuleqembu layo ke ilaphana ke iTsunami Queens usayine kule season musha kodwa osebhele nje walibeka ke emahlombe akhe yena ke uzweni ngesikhathi bedliwa iVasco da Gama walishaya ke igoli asibone nje le tackle angeke avuma uNompempe la nakanjani Mhlongo ke njengoba ke bemthinta ke bemlahla ke phansi free kick. Thank you, Wenchisa. Waphela ke wayiphasela lapha umphathi Victoria Akujama kodwa ke ibhola ke labo ke liphumela ke ngaphandle. Anomfundo umdunge awuyayiphosa ngakwesokudla kodwa ke liyabalahlekela ke abayo futhi ke Durban Ladies iqembu ke ngempela sithi isikhathi ke lasungulwa sibone nje bacontrola ke ibhola ke emuva ke banikeza ke goalkeeper Thandeka Ngcobo onama clean sheet amabili kule season uNgcobo elide ibhola la Ngcobo elifuna ke ujele oyavimba ke laphana ke emuva uPulane Ntsapesa 26 years abuya ke khona ke eButhabelo othiwa ke laphana ke ibhola ke aliphoswa ke iyona ke Tsunami Queens amulaba ibhola ke lali ke manje Zweni lapha ethi ke uyalupha kodwa ke ibhola laseliphumela ke ngaphandle umcabango ngoba omuhle nogoalkeeper bephumile epalini
Moyibheka kahle umlaba ushintshe sibiza ukuthi ushintshe location yebhola to play it just behind the defense. Into engithanda ngomlaba ukuba aware ukuthi goalkeeper iphumile line. I mean goalkeeper iyamatheka she's clever enough ukubona ukuthi goalkeeper usukile line uzama ukujambisa ibhola.
Anangu futhi ke uZweni ke laphana ke boxini anangu no goalkeeper Ngcobo enza iphutha yabamba uyayeka uzobalimaza uZweni ephele ke mangabe ke goalkeeper namaphutha kanje uZweni uhleze khona ukuthi ke avalele phakathi amagoli kodwa ke sihlanganisa 20 minutes Ray still no goal.
And Imonium at the back there, Tsunami Queens really piling on the pressure. Zweni having some joy there inside the box. She's had 3 attempts on goal. Only the second attempt she managed to get her boot on it, just flying over the bar. But we spoke about Tumpiso Mofokeng, the coach of Tsunami Queens. He's a coach that's seen his side capture only 2 draws this season, so that winning formula is definitely hard to come by for the home side, but every match week presents its own challenges and opportunities, and we'll just have to wait and see what's in store for the home team today. As I mentioned, Zweni having a couple of attempts at goal and almost making a dreadful mistake there. But Tsunami Queens opting to go for the long ball. Usually it's a battle of 2 styles. Durban Ladies like some possession play. They're not too scared to go long either, as we can see there. But Tsunami Queens definitely setting up, as you mentioned, to be with that low block and forming those counter-attacks. But this time it's Durban Ladies who eventually win the throw in there deep within Tsunami Queens half.
For Tsunami, it's about the vertical ball possession. They want to penetrate, they want to exploit the space behind the defense. Durban Ladies, yeah, they take some time. Sometimes they don't use the ball position very well because they keep position for the sake of keeping position. It's high time that now they learn to keep position to hurt opposition. So both teams different style. So today's going to be a space versus ball position. So Tsunami, they want you to do the hybrid effectiveness, which is called the space and dominating position at the same time.
Chiza, of course, the captain of the visiting team, just putting on some pressure there. 2 players on Mokwena. The second centre forward playing alongside Zweni this afternoon. But a throw-in once more for Tsunami Queens. See if the teams use that throw-in as a set-piece opportunity. But Durban Ladies now eventually finding its way back to the goalkeeper, Ngcobo, who hoofs it upfield. Strong header there, but not quite as convincing. And Durban Ladies having some joy there off the long ball. The defenders from Tsunami Queens a little bit nervous.
It's a panic mode. I mean, Ntsapesa collided with Khateb in that situation. Hopefully it's not another head injury because she was also her eyes were fixed on the ball. So hopefully it's not another head injury.
And as soon as you say that, Mpiwe, she is down. And it seems as if it is the captain, Pulani Ntsapesa, the centre back, the heart of the defense, the heart of the team. And you've already lost your goalkeeper to a head collision, and now potentially your captain.
Also, Ray, it's important not to tamper with your spine. I mean, you've just lost the goalkeeper. You don't want to lose your best centre back. I mean, if you listen to the coach, Tsunami Queens speak so highly of Ntsapesa. in terms of the standard situations, in terms of organizing that defense. So I think he's praying to say we don't want to lose or tamper with our spine. Thank God Nzapesa she's standing up.
A strong lady, definitely one that leads by example, not by power or intellect, but by example. She's a captain that the Tsunami Queens have desperately wanted over the years and finally gotten her. And maybe is one of the reasons why they are indeed just above that relegation zone. So a very important player for the Tsunami Queens, and we're just happy to see her back on her feet as play is expected to begin shortly there with a drop ball.
I want to highlight Nzapesa on standard situation. Offensively, you'll see her, she'll be taking those free kicks for Tsunami. She's very deadly when it comes to that.
And Durban Ladies getting it away once more. Using that long ball, pumping it in to the flanks there, Tsunami Queens, where the space does lie when those wing backs push forward. So there is space to exploit there in the wider areas. And Durban Ladies and Tsunami Queens both have done that, but neither team exactly just taking their chances just yet.
You speak about the long ball. Tsunami are inviting the long ball deliberately to regain position. They want to reduce the amount of time out of ball position. So it's deliberately, they're inviting the long ball deliberately.
Tsunami Queens eventually scratching it away, but Durban Ladies making it difficult for them. Eventually put out of play by the defensive midfielder Kujamo, right in the heart of that midfield. She has quite an uphill task this afternoon by dealing with some of the threats that Durban Ladies possess. So she'll be integral to the outcome of this game. And the ball is eventually helped out there. Very good defending there. And as we can see there, the keeper, first choice keeper, eventually going to the ambulance, which is a good sign.
Medically, the head injury is the most severe and dangerous one. So that's why she has to go to the hospital for precaution. But I could see that she's awake. It's just that she needs to get a medical attention, especially from the hospital facility. So hopefully she'll get better. She'll come back. The league is still very long. I know it's in the line of duty.
Ndila doing very well there to win the free kick for Durban Ladies. Of course, the side in the famous black and white strip, a team that calls Chatsworth their home back in KZN. Traveled a long distance here inland to Bethlehem, as I did mention. Some chilly conditions for them to negotiate, maybe conditions that they aren't exactly used to, but they have done well so far, just not exactly stringing the passes together just yet, but they are winning the battle in the midfield as it's out here for the Durban Ladies. She's still on her feet. She's still finding a pass option, eventually finding a long ball to the opposite side of the field, just chesting it down. Durban Ladies winning the free kick, their handball, and winning a free kick in probably the ideal free kick position A1, and a chance to potentially break the deadlock here.
It's a good area to win a free kick. Hopefully, obviously, they are specialists who will take it. Unfortunately, Tumlaba, it hit their end. So it's a very dangerous place to win a free kick. And obviously, offensively for Durban Ladies, it's an advantage. It's an opportunity to get on a scoring sheet.
A couple of players here surrounding the ball. We're doing one of them. And we mentioned the captain of Tsunami Queens, how effective she is from kickoff, from the free kicks, but Durban Ladies only interested for a couple of seconds, just overcooking that one there. And maybe wasting a potentially perfect opportunity to somehow test the keeper here early on, test the substitute keeper. It's so important to, as soon as that second goalkeeper comes on, you want to test her as soon as possible.
The only joy that I get from that standard situation, you can see they've worked on it in training. It was just a question of execution and how she delivered that free kick, because if you look at it, the training, they did the drill in training session, but you just need to find the right execution and the connection on the ball.
As you can see there on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, a number of tackles made on both sides. Slightly more from the Tsunami Queens, just sometimes just finding themselves pegged in deep within their own territory. As we can see now, a throw-in right on this right-hand touchline, hugging that right-hand touchline, and it's rumbled through. Durban Ladies holding firm, but an offside call does go in favor of the travelling side. Tsunami Queens maybe a little bit too eager, was Zweni and Mokwena both there. But a chance here for Nchiza, of course, to once again use that long ball strategy, that Route 1 football, and it has potentially paid dividends, but eventually snuffed out there by the captain Pulani and Zapesa.
Especially that long ball when they played, Zapesa just immediately withdrew from the crowd because she wants to sweep behind the defense. And maybe the way she manages space behind the defense, it's very important for Tsunami.
It must be said that Hlengiwe Nchiza, the captain of the Durban Ladies, has been instrumental in this game so far, taking all the free kicks, all the throw-ins, making herself available for her teammates, and potentially one that might want to get on the score sheet or even the assist list, as we can see her on the ball now. Nchiza finding her partner in crime. She's through on goal here. Can she get it through? The keeper makes a costly error, and it's 1-0 to Durban Ladies through the legs. I'm not quite too sure how she managed to squeeze it in there, did Charmaine Mhlongo, but nonetheless, it's 1-0 to Durban Ladies.
You don't want to concede during this time for Tsunami. I think if you look at how they've considered the goal itself, there's a bit of panic defensively. I don't know why, because numerically they were superior. I mean, this is how the Durban Ladies connect. It's interplay Mhlongo and Makanya. But how do Kabai concede in the near post? I don't understand. I mean, the coach must be fuming, because how do you concede in the near post? Everything was covered. It's within her range. But again, the shot is not even vicious. I mean, how did she allow the goal to go in the near post?
Not a lot of venom on the shot there, but it seemed as if Kabai saved it with her foot, and it came off back from her hand into the goal. So rather an obnoxious goal, but nonetheless, Tuli.
Oshameni Mhlongo ke elivalela phakathi igoli ke eloqala lomdlalo la eGold Park Stadium ke yabona ke uMhlongo ushaya ke igoli lesibili kule season lakhe, futhi ke ushaya ke igoli lesibili ke imidlalo ke ilandelana, ngoba ke ushaye ke igoli ngesikhathi ke bedliwa ke ngo-2-1 University of Johannesburg. Njengamanje ke izinto zithanda ukushintsha. Uyabona ke ne-ball possession ukuthi Durban Ladies ke iyona ke elibambile isikhathi eside ke ibhola ngo-62%. Lokho kuyakutshela ukuthi ke ngempela konakele ke ngempela laphana ke kulona ke iqembu ke layo ke iTsunami nayo futhi ke iyona ke Durban Ladies memory Makhanya ebhola elide, kodwa ke liphakeme ke iflag ngale ngakwesokudla, kuthiwa ke sekukhona iyona ke laphana ke i-offside. Uyabona ke lamaqembu ke namhlanje njengoba ke ehlangana nje la Durban Ladies ayikazi ishaye iyona ke iTsunami kusukela nje ngesizini ka-2019-2020 iTsunami kulowo mdlalo yawina ke ngo-1-0 first leg, ne-second leg baphinda bayiwina ngo-1-0. Ngesizini edlule Durban Ladies yadliwa ke ngo-3-2, idliwa ke iTsunami Queens ekhaya, baphinda ke bayidla futhi, noma ke umdlalo wesibili ke waphela ke nge-draw ka-1-1. Namhlanje iDurban Ladies ingathi ne-advantage njengoba ke simbona uMakhanya ebhola lakhe ke ethi ushintsha inkundla kamnandi, kodwa ke alifiki ke la elithumela khona, ayikaze iwishaye iTsunami Queens iDurban Ladies.
Ayikaze, and into engibhekile Thuli izika yi-2 today. iTsunami today iqale ngokuconsider, usifuna ukubona ukuthi bazoyifinish off kanjani game. Normal games they baqala ngokora Thuli, but also ngifuna ukuhighlight into important. Ukaba i-goalkeeper uqeda ukungena for Mulotsi, I think psychologically akakasettle kahle Thuli. Ku-important ukuthi asettle kahle. Ngishilo ngathi sometimes mawungena i-player lithole ukulimala ku-affecta nawe wena ungenayo. So hopefully Ukabai will settle as i-game i-progress. Mara ku-important ukuthi iTsunami namhlanje i-consider kuqala, so sifuna ukubona ukuthi bazoyiqeda kanjani.
Nchiza captain weDurban Ladies ushiya ke lapha ku-Umshengu Charlotte ke bathi ke ulelo owagijima kwiBloemfontein Celtic, yena ke laphana ke uMshengu Makhanya udlala kabi, kuthiwa ke aphakeme ke ama-stats. Nanke la goalkeeper uqeda ke kudliwa ke igoli uDinewo Okabayi una 25 years uzalwa khona ke la eQwaqwa yena ke la uKabayi ke uke wadlalela ke iqembu elibizwa ke ngayo ke iHappy Ladies la khona ke la eQwaqwa ke namhlanje nanke ededela ke igoli ke la kulomdlalo ke abawudlala ke neDurban Ladies ngapha ke emapalini eDurban Ladies khona uNgcobo uMapholoba othandeka njengoba ke simbona elungisa udonga ke lwakhe lapha ithola ifree kick eTsunami Queens anza pesa oyayiphakamisa kodwa ephuma ke ephezulu kwamapali ke beyinhle ke iyona ke i-free kick kanza pesa
uyawashaya Thuli uyawashaya unza pesa I mean uzowabona amaningi namhlanje azowashaya kanje ama situation la around ipali around 18 yards unza pesa uzowashaya because technically hey umnandi man so I think umqeqeshi vele uhighlightile lento important ukuthi from standard situation unza pesa uzolithola liwa
Durban Ladies iyona ke laphana ke singise center kodwa ke bayabaphuca libuya manje ke noMatsidiso umphathiya awulibeka ke kuyena ke Victoria Gujamo ngakwesokunxele khona uMolaba nangedlula uMolaba ecross enhle kaMolaba kodwa lo goalkeeper uyabamba uyayeka okwesibili enza ke into efanayo uThandeka Ngcobo akhona okuzobethusa kuleli pali le Durban Ladies mangabe izinto ke ebengazilungisa angazi ukuthi usabani ugoalkeeper nangu uhlikihla phansi izandla ungathi zona ziyashibilika
mawuyibona Thuli mawumqeqeshi uyahighlight ukuthi hey ugoalkeeper ngathi akamnandanga kahle amaglava ayashelela asimshayini ngesigubhu because mawumbheka for every ball abalishaya kuye liyaphuma ezandleni so important ukuthi uthabise umqeqeshi ayiveze abadlalini bakhe ukuthi emadoda asishayini igubhu ngoba ugoalkeeper uyathulula lamabhola
anthabise ke Mazowu ke uhlezi phansi njengoba ke simbona ke ukuthi ke uthintekile ke unegoli elilodwa kule season ke yena ke uNthabisengi na ke bangena ke ebazombheka yabona ke namhlanje sinemidlalo emibili ezolo ke eminye ke imidlalo ke idlaliwe njengoba ke sibone ke iSundowns ishaya ke iJVW ngo-4-2 umgcoyi naye ke laphana ke ushaya ke amagoli ke amabili kulowo mdlalo Richmond United yashaya ke iGolden Ladies ngo-4-0 nangu ugoalkeeper uyazibona naye ukuthi ekhona ke lamaphutha engenzayo yazi izandla zakhe ziyavuza ngempela nakhu ukulokuqala ke leli walibamba waliyeka lihamba kancane ibhola nali elesibili futhi ecross iza kuyena ngqo waphinda wayibamba wayiyeka
and ube nenhlanhla ama defenders wakhe around kumprotector ukuthi bangakori from i-second ball I think umqeqeshi naye uzomhighlighta umqeqeshi wakhe ukuthi hey lungisa lawo maphutha ngoba sometimes uzothi uyalose ibhola abafike balifinish off and uzweni ukhona lapha eboxini and very instinctive ready for anything ehamba yodwa lapha epalini
uyabona ke eminye ke imidlalo edlalwe ke laphana ke osukwini ke layizolo iTUT ane-Coal City Wizards lo mdlalo ke uphele ke ngo-3-2 TUT enqoba ke ngempela ke kwase kwathi ke iUJ ebuya ke ku-3 points ayithathe kona ke la iDurban Ladies edlale ke idraw ka-1-1 neCity Ladies elinye iqembu elingayazi wini ifana nayo ke iTsunami Queens iCity Ladies eGolden Ladies bese kuba ke iyona ke lapha iTsunami ayibona amathathu amaqembu angakaze awine ke kule season ingakho ke bezithola ke belaphana ke ezansi kuyona ke ibottom 3 throw in refilwe Mukwena eliyonakala ke ibhola eCape Town bekune derby enkulu ke iUWC idlala ke neVasco da Gama enomqeqeshi omusha ngemuva ukuthi ke bemkhomba indlela laphana ke uAshraf uCalvert umqeqeshi ke weVasco iwinile ke lapha iUWC ngo-4-1 asibone lo mnyakazo futhi uMolaba ogijima kakhulu ngale ke ngakwesokunxele yena ke laphana ke uMolaba kodwa ke ibhola ke liphumela ke ngaphandle awubefuna ke unontsikelelo uzweni amabhola ke avele ke abamabili ke enkundleni athi sibheke nje ukuthi wenze njani ke laphana ke uzweni umgadile ke laphana ke uNosipho uMahlalwe goal kick ibekwa phansi ke uyena ke uMtaka Ngcobo one Durban Ladies and not Tsunami Queens na-ke manje bayaphakamisa bafuna-ke yena futhi-ke umhlongo ebhola-ke alifiki kumhlongo nali-ke manje-ke elide bafuna-ke yena-ke laphana-ke umshengu cross kodwa-ke ibhola-ke liyavinjwa i-corner kick ye-Durban Ladies.
Ukhuluma into important to lama teams wonke lawa obabala ukuthi abakawini negame e-1 uma ukhuluma nabaqeqeshi bazokutshela ukuthi umsebenzi usemningi kakhulu engiyabafilela abaqeqeshi umsebenzi mkhulu abafanele bawenze thuli nama-player alazi ibhola but into important fanele bazi imigomo ukuthi kudlalwa kanjani.
Ekhona bayaphakamisa ifuna amakhanda ebhokisini kodwa uyavimba emuva uMeggy Hadebe eyaxosha-ke ibhola-ke iyona-ke i-Tsunami Queens uyabuya uMemory Makhanya alaphansi emuva manje kumshengu adlalisa ugoalkeeper uNgcobo yaphakamisa-ke uNgcobo Intshiza ukapteni wale qembu-ke ele-Durban Ladies kodwa-ke ibhola-ke eliphumela-ke ngaphandle yabona-ke njengoba-ke sikhuluma-ke ngawo-ke amaqembu angakashayi-ke angakatholi ngisho u-3 points noma-ke iyona-ke iwini kule sizini namagoli bayawadedela alikho iqembu elidedela-ke amagoli njengane-Golden Ladies seyidedele 34 goals emidlalweni-ke eyu-9 City Ladies nayo-ke njengoba ihlezi kunumber 15 27 goals akuyona imidlalo-ke iyu-9 umqeqeshi lo uThabiso Mufukeng aweqembu-ke le-Tsunami Queens naye futhi-ke isizini yakhe yokuqala eqeqesha-ke le qembu njengoba-ke izinto-ke zithanda ukuthi-ke zibe nzima Durban Ladies athi uyaliveza undlela alifiki-ke laphana-ke kuyena-ke umhlongo amshengu uyiqala-ke laphana-ke emuva khona-ke umdlali-ke asephinde-ke wahlala phansi-ke njengoba-ke ethintekile ngibona ngathi-ke umpathiya amatsidiso umpathiya oyena-ke ohlezi-ke phansi wayekhona isungulwa i-Tsunami Queens uyi-founding member yale qembu konke ngale qembu uyakwazi-ke umpathiya unegoli elilodwa-ke egameni lakhe kodwa-ke sisele nje na 5 minutes ukuthi siye ekhefini Durban Ladies 1 Tsunami Queens not.
The game certainly hasn't been perfect, both teams gifting away possession on a regular basis, but it has to be said Durban Ladies just finding that moment of luck and that moment of weakness in the Tsunami Queens defense and capitalizing on the error from Daneo Kabai. As we can see there, another throw-in for Tsunami Queens on the far side of the field. Eventually using that long ball, having Sweni interested just a little bit, but Nkobo just taking her time, just attracting Sweni and once more picking the ball up. But it has to be said, Tsunami Queens have developed somewhat of a never say die attitude. They do tend to strike back when provoked, but we just, for them and their fans, they just haven't been doing that enough throughout the season. But an error there from Durban Ladies. Winnie finding the pass option there out wide, a cross goes in towards Winnie, and Durban Ladies eventually dealing with that Tsunami Queens threat, causing some excitement not only here in the commentary booth but also in the stands, and eventually snuffed out there by Durban Ladies. And a perfect corner opportunity, the first corner for Tsunami Ladies to potentially capitalize on. Pulani and Zapesa, of course, the captain taking the corner, the set piece specialist as they call her. A number of defenders, the likes of Maggie Radebe as well as Mazoi, most certainly will be licking their lips from this corner as the ball goes in, and it's cleared out by Durban Ladies. And back in field, this time Ngobo holding on to the ball and not making the error there.
You spoke about the important thing, Ray. It's players are giving ball position away cheaply, and I think it's caused by during the week they played the game on Wednesday. So the coaches spoke about individual prioritization, which means obvious players take different respond differently to the stress, and obviously the bodies are not the same. So you can see now slowly they're building up that momentum, they're gaining momentum. How we started very slow because of the games they played on Wednesday. So the preparation, there was no time, enough time to prepare. They only prepared day before, which is yesterday.
And despite Charmaine Mhlongo getting onto the goal scoring sheet, as we can just see there, the offsides, Durban Ladies 2-1, but Mhlongo proving the difference thus far. But Jele, the centre forward, rather anonymous and rather isolated in this first half, so she'll be hoping to get onto that ball more often in the second half as she operates here in centre field, and a foul is called there in favour for Durban Ladies. And it seems like they're the guilty culprit, of course, Mazoi there, taking out the goal scorer, Charmaine Mhlongo. Quite a physical encounter, it has to be said. Injuries on either side. And I just heard in my ear, ladies and gentlemen, that we are expecting 7 minutes once that 45-minute mark hits. And a free kick opportunity now for Durban Ladies. Spiwe, you as the free kick taker, you as the centre back would have probably gone straight into the box from the long ball. Maybe not the right thing to do, but nonetheless, Durban Ladies trying to get their hands on that ball, and Zweni gifting it away, pumping it forward once again.
I think for any standard situation, when you're sending your big men up front, it's about bringing that aerial threat. You want your big men to be able to connect with any deliverance in the box. So it's important for Durban Ladies, for anything that they play in the box, they must find their aerial strong players in terms of making sure that they connect with the ball, because any deliverance, if it's not accurate, it's always going to count against them.
Accuracy is most certainly top of the menu there this afternoon. There's a throw in there called, and I think the number 8 there, Ndlela, the guilty party, the left wing back. She's had some joy here on the left hand flank. We saw her assist that led to that dreadful injury of that first choice goalkeeper, but nonetheless, Tsunami Queens trying to thread a ball through the midfield, but Durban Ladies spotting some space there in and behind the defense there, and obnoxiously kicked out by the substitute goalkeeper Daneo Kubai, but nonetheless he does the job and safety remains, albeit just for a couple of seconds. But the first thing that Tsunami Queens do need to focus on is going into halftime not conceding that second goal.
It's about mental toughness. I mean, I've realized after they concede, you can see the body language, it changes. So it's important for them to keep that focus levels very high, because you don't want to concede through the critical phases of the game.
The ball finds itself back to Nchiza, trying to shift it from the right to the left, but keeping her eyes on the ball. Did Mokwena, the right back, facing her opposite number eye to eye and coming off there, but Zweni trying to thread it through there. Durban Ladies always seem to put on the pressure at the right time, pressing at the right time, and there's nothing better than it's one thing pressing as a team, but if you don't press uniformly and at the right time, you can get picked apart.
Synchronized. You need to synchronize your pressing, and it depends also what type of pressing. There's an aggressive pressing, there's a positional pressing. So with Tsunami, it's about a variation. So they're not sticking to the principles of what Tabiso wants. But just to sum up the first half, Ray, it's important that Tsunami, they need to reload their runs in terms of in occupying those offensive spaces. I mean, width and depth, it's very important, especially after regaining position. Yes, they're using a super low block, but it has to work for them in terms of the counter attack. But for Durban Ladies, they need to do better in terms of how they lose the ball cheaply. And in those final third areas, that's where everything needs to happen. Durban Ladies, they just need to be clinical in front of the goals, and obviously the combination plays. Remember, if you want to beat the block, it's about interplay, it's about combination play.
And a goal kick here for the Durban Ladies. One player out on her feet. It seems as if it's Ndlela on the left-hand flank, and Ngobo being forced to wait here. Captain, I beg your pardon. Thank you, Nchiza. Such an integral part of this team, the heartbeat of the Durban side, invaluable to this team. And as I mentioned, Durban Ladies just a couple of weeks ago only found themselves just above that relegation zone, and they've done well, getting 3 wins on the bounce before they lost to UJ, but they've done very well to escape that drop zone and establish some sort of a gap between them and the relegation zone.
The coach spoke about he wanted to address all the issues that they had. Remember, when you lose players, the team, it's a completely new team. They wanna integrate how they integrate the new players into the setup and how he wants the team to play. So it's a team in transition. It's gonna take some time. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done with regards to what Durban Ladies is about.
Once again, as we look there, ladies and gentlemen, to the highlights that caused the injury there. Jele keeping her eyes on the ball, but the knee just clenching the face, and it's an unfortunate injury, rather horrific and not quite ideal to see for either team, but nonetheless, it's been quite an interesting half, an intriguing half, a half that has not been perfect, but so many talking points during the half-time break.
It's been a very dicey first half between the two sides. Not settled, obvious. You can see from the point of view of the conditioning from the body. We spoke about individual periodization, but I think the second half will be better.
Jele rifling it in, and then Zapeza putting her body on the line, putting her face, putting her head on the line, getting in the way of that cross, and doing very well to keep the score level there.
Unfortunately, as a defender, you'll have to go through this. The ball hits you all over. So we've seen this, we've seen the West. Ball has been hitting us, you can see the scars on our faces, so it's the name of the game.
Definitely the Warriors on the football field is the defense, and the Warrior herself, Pulani and Zapesa, taking it flush to the face. And it does bring about a corner for Durban Ladies, so a final opportunity perhaps to add to their lead and double their advantage, and perhaps put this game to bed before even the half-time whistle is blown, but still a lot of football to play. And the captains Zapesa just going off. So lack their captain from the corner, and the ball goes in, and it's cleared by Kabai. Just getting her fingertips on it. Comes back to Durban Ladies and eventually going out of play. Tsunami Ladies now with a thrown on the far side of the field, and it does find the strike partner, Mokwena. All the way to the opposite side of the field, when Chiza comes from all the way from the opposite side of the field, and a chance here once again for Tsunami Queens to perhaps edge their way back into this encounter. As we see now Durban Ladies going from back to front so quickly, so effortlessly. Yes,
I spoke about the final third. It's important. You need to be clinical. You need to perfect the moment. So you've seen Tsunami.
As we can see there, Jele is through on goal. She has a crack, and this time on the near post, Kabai does make the save.
Confidence booster. That save gives a confidence booster. You remember the two balls that went to her. One is a goal, and the other one she parried away. So it's a confidence booster. I mean, if you look at it, position very well similar to the replica of the goal. But again, I think it boosts the confidence in that situation.
And we thought the last corner from Durban Ladies was their final one. The ball goes in for Durban Ladies, and this time charged down there. Very well done by Mazoe. And Tsunami Queens just surviving that onslaught. As we can see, their attempt on goal rather ambitious. As the clock ticks on past the 50-minute mark, it's been one long first half's action, but largely thanks to that injury in the opening 5 minutes. And the goal kick is taken quickly, and it goes to Pulani and Zapesa. She gives it away, and Durban Ladies might be through here, just not finding that final pass just yet. And it must be said that they haven't been perfect, and some would argue that they maybe don't warrant the opening advantage, but mistakes do win you football games, and it's Dineo Kabai with the mistake that has given Durban Ladies the lead.
Football language, it says the team that makes less mistakes wins matches. So Tsunami needs to reduce the amount of mistakes that they make.
But that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That brings an end to the first half's action. It's been one entertaining game of football. It's a game that has ebbed and flowed. Not quite consistent. Both teams have been constantly giving away possession and territory. And it's Durban Ladies who will most certainly be the happier of the two sides, as we'll just have a look at the stats there for you just before we leave you. Mhlongo, of course, getting that goal thanks to that Dineo Kabai error. And clearly the shots on goal, not really much of a difference. Zweli having a number of shots, 4 to 5. Shots on target, 2 apiece. And Tsunami Queens making just more of the fouls, but possession, they're clearly dominated by the Durban Ladies side, but it's what we expected coming into this encounter with Tsunami Queens. Definitely more of a defensive team, so we'll just have to wait and see in the second half if the story does continue as what we saw it in the first half. But do stay tuned for that second half's action here.
Next time on Gospel Classics.
Sisterhood of Women Come Worship.
I know that there's advantages of having a child while you are a child yourself.
Gospel Classics every Sunday at 4 p.m. on SABC2. More for you.
Wat's die okasie is 'n splinternuwe skitterblink reeks op SABC2 wat partytjies hou vir ons land se nommer 1 persoonlikhede met die hulp van 'n span kundiges.
Dis so lekker om 'n nuwe program te hê. Wat's die okasie?
Jy wil nie hierdie mis nie. Welkom.
Ja, tjie, soos al die B-stryd van die dal af, meisie.
Ons is nou amper reg vir die show, maar ek kan nie vir julle enigiets meer wys nie. Let's go.
Ag, hierdie dress-up partytjie val so reg in my kraal, is om myself in drag te sit.
Weens die pandemie kry ek en my man Ashley uiteindelik die kans om ons troue te vier.
These special days is the opportunity to really just say thank you.
Ek kan nie my dogter op die dag sonder haar voorstel nie.
Definitief vandag vir my 'n highlight was om my maandpa hierso te sien.
Dit is tyd om ons land se mense te vier, mooi te maak en te kuier saam met ons familie en vriende. Kyk, wat's die okasie? Elke Dinsdag aand om 7:00 op SABC2.
Next on Siaya, come wild with us. Hugging a tree takes on a whole new meaning and Wompi's back with big plans.
It's winter, so the crocodiles are sleeping, but it's also a drought and it's hot. So crocodiles might come out and they are hungry. The big delta is gonna swallow you guys up. Guys, the channel is narrow, so look out for hippos. If you see anything, you need to put brakes on fast. See how beautiful they are. The closer we get, the prettier they'll become.
Siaya, come wild with us. Wednesdays at 4 on 2.
Love sports? Well, you're sure to love Wednesdays as well.
So throughout these 60 minutes, it truly is going to be epic.
Join Oliswa Zondo and Shampunaiza as they dish it up for you. Get the juice, the 411. Get entertained and get to know your favorite athletes. Sport at 10. Live on SABC1, Sport Channel on OpenView 124, SABC DTT, and on Telkom 1.
Well, that's how it looks after 45 minutes of action in this HWBSL Super League encounter between Tsunami Queens as well as Durban Ladies. We did see quite horrific scenes here in the first 5 minutes of this encounter as Uboitumelo Muloti was injured. And we really did see from the side of Durban Ladies, Jayla, there was purely no intention there. She was simply going for the ball, but unlucky for Yenage Umuloti, who unfortunately had to be taken off the field and rushed to hospital. She is currently in a stable condition, but I can tell you it was not a good scene to experience here. And then of course after that, Odinewa Kabai had to come in for her and really taking some time to settle into this encounter, and is likely the reason why she made that goalkeeping error that led Durban Ladies to find the back of the net in the 30th minute through Ushamaine Mhlongo, and that is what makes all the difference in this moment, in this encounter. They do, of course, Durban Ladies go into the halftime break 1 goal up and certainly take that confidence into the halftime break. Kodwa manje ake sibone mhlambe ama highlights walo mdlalo wanamhlanje ukuthi so far how it's unfolded in the first 45.
Out now to one of the right wing backs, but it's cut out by Ndlela. She's got some green grass ahead of her. The left wing back finally, does she get a cross in? She does. And the keeper, you hope that she's okay. As we can just see here.
An unfortunate situation. I mean, it's a collision on the head. Oh, hopefully she gets better. I mean, on the head with the knee.
Amulaba, ebola ngelali ke manje uzweni lapha. Ethi ke uyalupha phadla umcabango obe umuhle no goalkeeper bephumile epalini.
Ushintshe sibiza ukuthi ushintshe location yebhola to play it just behind the defense. Into engithanda ngomlaba ukuba aware ukuthi goalkeeper iphumile line in. I mean, goalkeeper iyamate uzama ukujampisa ibhola.
Anangu futhi ke uzweni ke lapha ke eboxini. Anangu no goalkeeper Ngcobo enza iphuthu uyabamba uyayeka uzobalimaza uzweni. Ephele ke mangabe ke goalkeeper namaphutha kanje.
Mofokeng, the coach that's seen his side capture only 2 draws this season, so that winning formula is definitely hard to come by for the home side, but every match week presents its own challenges. Just still finding a pass option, eventually finding a long ball to the opposite side of the field, just chesting it down. Durban Ladies in probably the ideal free kick position.
It's a good area to win a free kick. Hopefully, obviously they are specialists. It's a very dangerous place to win a free kick, and obviously offensively for Durban Ladies.
And we mentioned the captain of Tsunami Queens, how effective she is from kickoff. Opportunity to somehow test the keeper here early on, test the substitute keeper. It's so important to, as soon as that second goalkeeper comes on, and potentially one that might want to get on the score sheet or even the assist list, as we can see her on the ball now, and Chiza finding her partner in crime. She's through one goal here. Can she get it through? The keeper makes it through the legs. I'm not quite too sure how she managed to squeeze it in.
They were superior. I mean, this is how the Durban Ladies connect. It's interplay Umhlongo and Makanya. But how do Kabai concede in the near post? It's I don't understand. I mean, the coach must be fuming. Because how do you concede in the near post? Everything was covered. It's within her range. But again, the shot is not even vicious. I mean, how did she allow the goal to go in the near post?
Not a lot of venom on the shot.
So you've seen Tsunami go.
As we can see there, Jele is through on goal. She has a crack, and this time on the near post, Kabai does make the save.
She parried away. So it's a confidence booster. I mean, if you look at the position, very well similar to the replica of the goal. But again, I think it boosts their confidence in that situation.
And we thought the last corner from Durban Ladies.
And that's how it looks in this encounter so far. It is the visiting team, Tsunami Queens, who are rather Durban Ladies, who lead by a 1-0 here against Tsunami Queens. Shamaine Mhlongo, of course, finding the back of the net in the 30th minute, and the near post goalkeeping error there, which put their team in front. Kodwa khona manje siyazibuza ukuthi ucoach uthini kuqembu lakhe leTsunami Queens during this halftime break. We know that they did have to see one of their players, Umuloti, get injured and then get sent off to hospital so that bakwazi ukwenza sure ukuthi uyalunga nokuthi akalimalanga kakhulu nokuthi mhlambe lokho kuba affecta kanjani from a mental point of view. So we are interested in knowing what that halftime discussion is in this moment, and also whether or not they'll be able to come back into this encounter. We know how a coach spoke about how he wants to find his first 3 points Glana go HWBSL Super League. He wants to do better than the team did last season, where they only managed to win 2 games in the entire season. For Durban Ladies, they certainly are the happier of the 2 teams, having gone into this halftime break 1 goal up against Tsunami Queens. Kodwa khona manje isikhathi sokuthi sithathe ikhefu ningaindawo uma sibuya nje emva kwekhefu we will hand you over to the commentary team to take us through the second 45 minutes of this encounter. It is Utulisile Mia, Uspio Mkonza, as well as Ray Kuhn, who are painting a beautiful picture of this encounter for us in Gaindawa. We will be back shortly.
Next time on Gospel Classics.
Sisterhood of Women Come Worship.
I know that there's advantages of having a child while you are a child yourself.
Gospel Classics every Sunday at 4 p.m. on SABC 2. More for you.
Next on Ubetina Wetu.
Have you seen Dingan? No. And why are we being dramatic?
Have you seen Dingan?
You know, usually a closed door means you knock.
Hey, thanks, bye.
So self-involved.
Do you know how to chase a cell phone? It's a matter of life and death. Don't you want to be a hero? Of course you do.
Ubetina Wetu. Mondays to Wednesdays at 9:30 on 2.
Hierdie week kuier Pasella op stel saam met die voormalige Pasella aanbieder en gewilde akteur Shaun Marco Foster.
Vergeet my nie.
Ons maak lyfnat saam met Vilje Marits en harkoek sommer sy gesin en sy pa, die akteur Albert Marits, nader vir 'n kuier.
Ali, twakkie, baksakkie.
Albert Marits 4x4 saam met iemand wie se stem julle dalk mag herken. Hey. En dan sit ons aan vir 'n Weskus ete soos min. Dis Pasella, Woensdae 7:30 op SABC 2.
Backing Anna must speak out.
Onarabatle 7,350.
You are old. Do you have proof that they came in and took your stuff, Larry?
Yeah, but you're gonna take me on the news.
It's not about you, ma'am. You just said you are not the owner, so don't worry about that. We need to speak to Larry. As soon as you can get Larry, then the quicker this is resolved.
Ibale rona sonta se sing le se sing ka 8:30 hona mona SABC 2 you belong.
Next on Siaya, come wild with us. Hugging a tree takes on a whole new meaning, and Wompi's back with big plans.
It's winter, so the crocodiles are sleeping, but it's also a drought and it's hot. So crocodiles might come out and they are hungry. The big delta is gonna swallow you guys up. Guys, the channel is narrow, so look out for hippos. If you see anything, you need to put brakes on fast. See how beautiful they are. The closer we get, the prettier they become.
Siaya, come wild with us. Wednesdays at 4 on 2.
We're at the S3 launch in Johannesburg. The reason that we're doing this is to reach out and to have communication with people, with our producers, with our brands, with the market. To come on board with S3 and begin to support the channel.
S3 is fearless by nature, and to us that means having conversations that South Africans need to have, conversations that are needed to move our country forward. And that's what we're about. It's great content, great audiences. S3, we're opening up.
The estate, we are so excited. We're in the writer's room and we're working on season 3. There are love stories. There's a new family that we're going to introduce. You will have to tune in to see.
What the channel represents today is a reflection of myself, my own growing consciousness, my own awareness around what's around me.
It's definitely a game changer for the local broadcasters.
S3 Open Up is paying homage to the people who are out there, conscientizing people about what's going on, socio-economic issues in the country. So I'm excited about that content.
Being content and enveloped in contentment, that is S3 for me.
When it comes to S3's new tagline, Fearless by Nature, is it's quite provocative. It actually forces South Africans to take on the responsibility to be bold, be brave, be creative, live outside of your comfort zone, and be fearless.
Asibonge ke kakhulu ke e-studio ke sisho sithi ke sikhona ke la eGoble Park Stadium ke umdlalo obusekhefini ke siyabuya manje ke iswombe sesibili Durban Ladies ye khefini ihamba phambili ke ngegoli ke elilodwa ke eqandeni ke elivalelwe phakathi uShameni Omhlongo ke okade ke shaya ke igoli lakhe lesibili kule season eshaya igoli futhi ke lesibili kulandelana njengoba ke esho ke uNompempe manje ethi ke alisuke lihlale lesuswa ke iqembu ke laseThekwini nabo bedlulisa kamnandi ngekhanda abafuna umdunge ufuna ungena ke ngenkane eboxini kodwa cha bakhona ke emuva ke lapha Thabise Mazowe uyaliyeka nje ukuthi ke ibhola ke aliphumele ke ngaphandle kube ke i-goal kick ezobuya ke izothathwa iyona ke i-Tsunami Queens ozokhumbula ke ukuthi i-Tsunami Queens ibuye ke lapha ke ngesombe ke esoqala 10 minutes nje uqalile umdlalo goalkeeper ke wase ke ethinteka ke kabuhlungu ekhanda njengoba ke ehambile ke bamphuthumisa ke esibhedlela ke indawo yakhe yena ke umolotsi ithathwe ke uDinewo Okabayi ofike ke bambingelela ke ngalo ke igoli kodwa ke isimo ke njengamanje simi kanje alukho ke olunye ke ushintsho olwenziwe ke iwona ke womabili ke amaqembu wonke asabuye ke njengoba ke njalo omphathiya basekhona kulona iqembu ke eletsunami Madiphu Mkhwena bakhona ke laphana ke phambili kanti ke ngapha ke Durban Ladies nayo kayishintshanga sinothisiwe ejele okhona ke laphana ke phambili bese kuthi ke yena uShameni Mhlongo ke futhi ke naye ke ukhona ke sobheka nje okuhamba ke kwesikhathi ukuthi ke ikuphi oshintsho ke abazothi ke balwenze abalo ke iqembu ke lawo ke womabili Durban Ladies nayo ke iTsunami Queens uzokhumbula ke ukuthi ke iTsunami iza ke kulomdlalo ke idlale ke idraw ka 1-1 ke idlala ke neGolden Ladies ke igoli layo ke iTsunami ke lavalelwa phakathi ke uyena ke uPulane Nzapesa kuleyo mdlalo ke sabona ke ne-red card umfuke nge omolebohange akekho ke namhlanje ke ingakho ke indawo yakhe ithathwe uyena ke oMadiphu Umukwena ke naye ke ongazange agqame kakhulu ngesombe ke esoqala nange umdunge step over Mdunge Lindi support umdunge ifika kumakhanya labuyela kuyena futhi ke umdunge waseliyeka ukuthi aliphumele ke ngaphandle kuthiwa ke alibuye ke lizophoswa umdunge uyena ke ophosayo ke lapha unomfundo esithende ke kuyena lapha umhlongo ebhola ke laphinde futhi ke laphumela ke ngaphandle throw in manje ke bafuna ke lapha ujele bamthola ujele ibhola ke nali ke liphumela ke ngaphandle noma ke bayalikhipha ke laphana ke eboxini abayo ke iTsunami Queens Madiphu Mkhwena Mphathiya esingise center unikeza kamnandi uZweni yasimshaya ke first touch laphana ke uZweni kodwa ke uyalwa babili ke bamgadile uZweni liyabuya manje kujamo Victoria bazama ukushifta ke manje ke inkundla nangelibeka kamnandi ke esifubeni lapha umolaba ebhola ke lase ke liphumela ke ngaphandle kuthiwa ke alibuye ke lizophoswa kokhona ke umdlali ke ohlezi phansi okhona ke umdlali ke ohlezi phansi ke ngathi ke uyena ke laphana ke Sinethemba Ndlela ohlezi ke phansi kulona ke iqembu le Durban Ladies ophumela ke ngaphandle ke laphana ke Sinethemba Ndlela one assist ke eyodwa ke kuyona ke le season Mmeki Hadebe defender gqoka number 10 kudlala lapha emuva yabona ke labo babonayo ke lapha escreenini sakho iyona ke ima Indies esifikile ke la enkundleni ke izodlala umdlalo ke wesibili ke njengoba ke sazi ukuthi double header namhlanje ke ila eGoble Park umdlalo olandelayo ima Indies izodlala ke neqembu layo ke iBloemfontein Celtic amegi yadebe uyaliphakamisa ke ibhola uyalixosha ke yena futhi ke lapha amadiphu umkhwena lase ke lithola nje eyedwa lapha uNosipho Mahlalwe abuya nalo uMasipho asephasa kamnandi ke manje enikeza amkhize ke nali ke manje ngakwesokunxele futhi ke bazama ukuya phambili abayo ke Durban Ladies ngoba ke ubuyile noSinethemba Ndlovu Ndlela oyalivala ke laphana ke phambili umhlongo ebhola ke balifaka phakathi ke boxini nangu eganga ke laphana ke ukapteni oyabuya manje laphana ke shiya umemory jika kamnandi uMakhanya kodwa ke ibhola lakhe washaya nje alangagcwala oyalwa ke uMakhanya Durban Ladies yabuya manje ke nali ibhola ke bezama ukushaya ke ugoalkeeper ekude ke ebekuzama ke yena ke lapha uncamsile Mkhize ebhola ke lase ke liphelela ke ezandleni ke zakhe ke ugoalkeeper Ngcobo ke emapalini ke Durban Ladies Mpatsiya Gonyawo lesinxele ushiya ke laphana ke ngakwesokudla bafuna uHadebe bayamthola alithi ibhola ke ngaphakathi ke boxini manje bafuna ke laphana ke manje urifilo Mgwena kodwa ke liyabashiya nje bonke ke ibhola ke eliphumela ke ngaphandle elidala ke igoal kick ezothathwa ke uyena ke laphana ke uThandeka Ngcobo oyidlala nje khona ke la eduze ke uNgcobo ashiya ke kuyena ke uNosipho Mahlalwe elithi ibhola ke lakhe uNosipho oyavimba ngakwesokunxele ke lapha Nthabisenge Emazowe akhiphela ke ngaphandle ethrow in umqeqeshi ke la Thabiso Umufukeke oweqembu ke layo ke iTsunami Queens ezinto ke zakhe ke azihambi ke kahle ke neze selokho ethatha intambo kule season ke akayazi iwini umqeqeshi oyashintsha umdlalo ke nomdlalo kodwa ke imphumela iyafana abanama draw nje amabili Makhanya wenza izinto eziningi uMakhanya kodwa bebekhona abantu angabaphasela balithatha Zweni Akujamo ebhola ke lahamba ke laya ke laphana ke ku goalkeeper Othandeka Ngcobo ke emapalini ke ayo ke iDurban Ladies uyabona ke amaphassisi ukuthi ke ahamba ke kanjani Tsunami Queens 45 kanti ke Durban Ladies ina 57 lokho nje uyakutshela ke ngempela ukuthi Durban Ladies iyona ke iqembu elidlala ke kangconywana ke kulomdlalo uyabona ke njengoba ngikutshela ukuthi ke uNgcobo unama clean sheet amabili kule season kanti ngapha uDinewo okabayi ke iyodwa uyabona ke ugoalkeeper onama clean sheet ke amaningi kule season ke usuka kulona iqembu leBloemfontein Celtic uyena ke uMoletsane awu4 emva kwakhe khona ke ugoalkeeper owayo ke iUWC Rigeli Ngubeni naye futhi ke Mane bese kuthi ke emva kwakhe khona ke laphana ke uNokuphila Mpatsiyana weThanda Birds naye ke futhi ke unama clean sheet ke amathathu Kelly Mswati goalkeeper weJVW naye ke mathathu ke ubiziwe esquadini sika Desiree Elisi bobabili ke noma ke bobathathu labo goalkeeper Omoletsane uSwati abese kuba ke uNgubeni kodwa ke yabo esiphiwe sibheke manje kuyoqeda ke u10 minutes wokuqala esombeni ke sesibili asibone lo mnyakazo wakhe ke uZweni bangena ke eboxini bafuna ke uMolaba sala phansi yena ke uMolaba angazi ke ukuthi ke ungathini ke ngalo 10 minutes njengoba ke singakaboni futhi ke goalkeeper ke besebenza bobabili
u10 minutes usho ukuthi ama teams abacoach balungisile ama tactical adjustments bayenzi lama tactical tweaks. Into important when tool is to keep the consistency. Yes, ungaqala kahle but ukuthi uqala kahle akusho ukuthi uzofinisha kahle. So I think abaqeqeshi basebenze kakhulu in terms of rectifying ama mistake abawenza second half. You can see in the Tsunami line up of defensive line, they've taken it up to the midfield, to the mid block. So it's better manje how baqale kanjani. Into eseyisela nje ukuthi ba connect uzweni no Mukwena phambili because aba support kahle baba pass ibhola but I support ayiko enough.
Yabona ke ukhuluma ke ngabo ke lapho zwenu ukuthi abanayo support nalo ke ushintsho laphana ke olwenziwa ke uThabiso umufukeki bafaka la umgadli Matsilengi Ramokali ilona ke ushintsho olwenziwa ke iyona ke laphana ke iTsunami uyangena futhi ke laphana ke naye ke laphana ke ugqoke unamba ke 17 laphana ke unamba 11 oshintsho ke olwenziwa ke ibona ke abayo ke lapha Tsunami Queens noma ke uLebohange Muloyi oyena ke ongena ke endaweni kaZweni abagadli bobabili ke laba ke abangenayo kuyakhombisa la ukuthi ke sebefuna ukufaka abagadli kuphela bazama ke ukuthola ke igoli lokulinganisa ongenani abe Tsunami Queens 1-0 Durban Ladies hamba phambili.
The last meeting between these two teams did end in a draw, so a lot of unfinished business to take care of as Tsunami Queens do need to deal with the Durban Ladies threat there and eventually do exactly that with a clearance. Pressure piled on. Just a reiteration of your score there if you're just joining us now, ladies and gentlemen. Durban Ladies still hold that slender lead in this encounter. But as I did mention, the last game between these two teams did end in a draw. So a lot of unfinished business for both these teams, but more so for Durban Ladies as they failed to defeat Tsunami Queens in the previous campaign, rather miraculously thanks to a wonderful brace by Mpatsia in Chatsworth, I think it was, but play does continue there. Durban Ladies eventually finding some sort of an exit route and getting the ball out. Tsunami Queens getting a chance to push up the field. And it's that number 11, Mazui, once more the left-sided centre back. Her left foot hasn't quite seen the ball as much as we all would have liked to see. But a free kick opportunity here for Tsunami Queens. Just a hand ball there, I think it was, just coming back off one of the Tsunami Queens players and back of the defender's hand, and unfortunately for them, it's the fouls that have started to rack up in favor of the Tsunami Queens. But a free kick now, and no better chance to equalize, and Zapeza once more, she looks to bend it into that far post, but Ngobo does very well, and this time in the first half she didn't quite manage to maintain those ball handling skills, but not making the fumbling error there. And it seems as if the ball has rather fiddled out, and play does continue here. They do tend to go short from the goal kick, straight to Pulani and Zapeza. She looks to get the team going from the long ball, but this time to the left-hand flank, up towards Molaba, who's got to run through here. Excellent defensive recovery there from Malahwe. And it's through here for Durban Ladies. So many threats to deal with, it has to be said, when you're playing this Durban Ladies team. So if you were the coach, what exactly would you tell your troops to do? Because the threat is coming from either side and at the center of the park. We've seen Makanya and Buthelezi not really getting onto the ball, but nonetheless a lot of work does need to be done, as we can see there. Ndlovu, number 23 on her back, makes her way onto the field. Buthelezi, as I mentioned, the number 9 coming off right in the heart of the midfield. A change in the midfield. We've seen some changes up front for Tsunami Queens. Durban Ladies responding with a change of their own here, this time in the midfield. And Ndlovu coming on, a smile on her face. She's excited to get going once more, and Zapeza gets play restarted. And Makanya eventually scratching it forward, and they've got a pass option out wide. They do take it back in field. There are three, of the offside flag does inevitably go up.
Let's first talk about the sub. Ndlovu sub. I mean, the coach wants to consolidate in the midfield, stabilize that midfield. So it's going to be Ndlovu in the midfield to try to stabilize as a defensive midfielder or deep lying playmaker. So the coach is already thinking about overcompensating to make sure that they don't concede a goal.
Free kick from deep once again for the Tsunami Queens. And a flicked on header. They are through here. Just slightly missing out on that opportunity, but it's the Durban Ladies that are really holding firm here. But it has to be said, Tsunami Queens are following a similar campaign to the previous season, only capturing 2 wins in that season. But before I continue, a chance here for Durban Ladies to add to their lead. And almost sneaking through the legs there once more. Mhlongo once again, she could have had a brace as easily like that, and Dineo Kabai almost gifting her that brace exactly like she did in the first half.
Look how quickly she accelerates. I mean, she gets into the prime scoring area, and a good shot, obviously good save from Kabai. We need to give credit where it's due. Almost it's a replica of the goal. The goal came in like this, but how quickly she accelerates, unbelievable.
Calling in for Durban Ladies. Does it fall for one of them? Not quite. Tsunami Queens do clear the ball away, but a number of forward players joining in to help the defense then. It's eventually won back in the heart of the midfield. Trying to play as the target man, did Mokwena. I beg your pardon, Ramukale trying to play as a target man, not quite bringing the other players into play there. She is a target woman, but not quite finding her target then. Possession is frequently lost here from Tsunami Queens.
I think it's important when you play with a reference point, you need to support the player that is holding the play for you, because sometimes you pass the ball, then you don't commit more numbers. Then she's going to lose position because she'll be up against 2 or 3 defenders.
Molaba there with some silky footwork. Definitely a player that they do need to get on the ball more often as the game does progress. As we approach here the 60th minute, and an offside here. I wouldn't say that's offside. It's a difficult angle to look at.
Angle to tell, yeah. Exactly. But from where it's sitting, I think it was a complete offside.
Tsunami Queens with once again another throw in on this left-hand touchline. Nice little turn there from Jele. Once again on the ball, but cleared away. Screams of a foul there, but Molaba eventually being dispossessed. She does quite seem comfortable with the ball at her feet. She does like to bring players into play. She just hasn't quite done that as we would have expected, and as many times as we would have liked throughout today.
I think speaking to the coach about Mlawa, he said it's important to allow her to dictate the tempo and obviously regulate the intensity of how they play. But my worry is then she's wasted on the side. I think he needs to play Mlawa more central so that you can see her influence, especially when they're in position.
Mazoe with a long throw expected, using that throw in as a set piece opportunity, and the throw goes in deep into that 18-yard area. Zoe once more puts it in and all the way to the back post, not quite finding anyone just yet. Doing very well there, didn't Chiza, to put some pressure on Tsunami Queens, guiding the ball out of play. Mhlakanipo Mataba, the coach for Durban Ladies, has led his side to 12th position before yesterday's result, so a win away from home today would suit the side very well there. Some panicky defense once more, and it's an opportunity for Malabo, puts it in, and it's a goal for Tsunami Queens, just like that in the blink of an eye. And it's Mpatia who gets on the score sheet. The celebrations says 1,000 words. Oh my word, what a goal that is, and what a cross from Mulaba on the left-hand flank.
If you look at that goal, we've just spoken about Umlaba, you'll see from the slow motion point of view, you look at the ball goes over Mahasho, but look at intelligent play from Mulaba. What a cross and a good finish from Mpatia. I mean, she didn't close her eyes, a very good finish. She's aware what she was doing, but we must talk about the deliverance of the cross from Umlaba.
It's of course that lady in Mpatia. proving to be the difference and proving to be the star girl for Tsunami Queens. And a beautiful header down into the ground, giving the keeper no chance whatsoever there, Simpiwe.
It's a technique. It's a very good technique from Mpatsiye. But I spoke about the important part from the Mulaba side. You can see an influence. You can see how she dictates the tempo of Tsunami. I only expect the coach to see what she needs to have that influence in the midfield.
And Durban Ladies now, with being so comfortable throughout up until that 64th minute, have conceded a wonderful goal thanks to a line break on the left-hand side from Mulaba, the left wing-back. And we spoke about the importance the wing-backs have in this encounter. And so far, Mulaba definitely the one that has maybe come out on top, but still so much football to play.
There's still a lot of football to be played, Ray. But teams need to keep their concentration level very high, because I mean, if you look at the minutes, the time is still, I mean, we still have so much time. So the team, they just need to be consistent with their actions.
One Tsunami, one Durban Ladies, equally elihle. Elvalelwa ke phakathi ke uyena ke laphana ke Mpatsiye yabona ke Tsunami iyakhombisa ukuthi ke iyadlala, iyakwazi ke nokushaya amagoli. Izinto nje zayo ke Tsunami zonakala nje ngasegcineni, ngoba ke emidlalweni eminingi amagoli ke ngesecond half bayawadedela, kodwa namhlanje zihlukile izinto. Kweminye imidlalo ibona ke abashaya kuqala igoli, njengoba ke kulomdlalo abawudlala ke nayo ke iCall City Wizards. Yabona ke Mpatsiye njengoba elivalela phakathi uyena washaya igoli layo ke Tsunami ngomzuzu wesibili, kodwa ke baphinda ke bavele ke badedela ke iCall City Wizards ukuthi ke ishaye ke amagoli amathathu ke umdlalo usuya ke ngase emaphethelweni. Nangesikhathi futhi ke bedlala ke nayo ke UJ nakhona futhi ke bakora kuqala. Yabona ke namhlanje sizobabona ke ukuthi ke umqeqeshi ukusebenzile yini lokho. Asibone nje iDurban Ladies nangumhlongo ngene boxini, awavele wayiwela, awavele ke wayiwela nje eyedwa, bekuyena ke ujele wavele ke wayiwela ke wakhahlela nje inhlabathi, yena ke usinothisiwe ejele. Ojele ke uyena ke shaye ke igoli ke ngesikhathi ke bedlala nayo ke laphana ke UJ. Yasibona nje lana ukuthi ke kwenzeke nawubheke nje uvele wakhahlela inhlabathi, wayeka ibhola wakhahlela inhlabathi. Yabuya iDurban Ladies umdunge manje unamandla umdunge, kodwa uphasela izitha, awuphasela ke iyona ke laphana ke Tsunami, awuyalungisa emuva laphana ke umshengu kujamo. Ibhola ke yakhe elide lifuna ke lapha phambili uMadipho Umukwena, liyamshiya ke kodwa ke yena ke uMadipho Umukwena. Throw in inikezwa ke iyona ke Durban Ladies iyalithatha lithi ibhola lifuna ujele, alifiki kodwa ke ibhola ke kuyena ke laphana ke ujele. Awuyena ke lo Mpatsiye i-founding member yale qembu, unesipiliyoni legoli alishaya ke manje namhlanje ke igoli ke lakhe lesibili kuyona ke le season. Usedlale yonke imidlalo, owesinaini lo mdlalo ke awuqalayo azawuqede futhi ke yena ke Mpatsiye Matsidiso Mpatsiye esipiliyoni ngeke usithenge ndawo.
Qedile apha manga wethu Thuli, isipiliyoni angeke usithenge ndawo. I think ukhulumile ukuthi imember yaqala le club Tsunami Queens, so you can see ukuthi uletha lesa sipiliyoni esimportant.
Flag iliphakeme ke laphana ke kuyena ke umsisi ikaNompempe, ukuthi ke kukhona ke i-offside, kothiwa ke abalisuse ke lapha. Asibone nje le offside, angikho ke eshow ukuthi ke offside ke noma ke akuyona, offside ke noma ke akuyona, kodwa ke umsisi kaNompempe uthi ke iyona ke i-offside. Yabona ke le goli ebelingenelwa ke iDurban Ladies namhlanje, igoli number 13 abalidedelayo. Kasibone nje la iTsunami njengoba ke befuna lapha uMuloyi alifika ibhola ke kuyena ke lebuhange uMuloyi libuya noMakhanya Jombi Center manje yapha uMemory naye futhi ke nje uphasa ke la ngekho khona umuntu owayo ke laphana ke Durban Ladies athi sibheke nje ukuthi Tsunami ke le goli abalidedeleke namhlanje ke elesingaki igoli ke number 26 emidlalweni ke eyi9 yakusho ukuthi le defense iyavusa umqeqeshi ke kuzomela futhi ke asebenze ekulona ke iqembu ke elayo ke iTsunami ukuthi ke alungise le defense njengoba ke sibona ke ushintsho uzongena manje ke uGuzani eqenjini ke elayo ke iDurban Ladies bayamkhipha uSinethemba Ndlela awushintsho lwesibili olwenziwa ke umqeqeshi uSiphephelo uMakhaya samkelo Guzani Gudazi uyangena othatha ke indawo ke yakhe ke uNdlela obedlala ke ngale ke ngakwesokunxele kodwa akukho cross akade ke eqhamuka nayo ngale futhi ke awukho nje umnyakazi weTemele ngicama ukuthi ushintsho obelifanele alwenze lelo
kufanele alenze umqeqeshi lo shintsho I think uGudazi uletha le nto esithi width uletha ispeed esayidini so I think umqeqeshi feel ukuthi uNdlela bekangabaniki lutho throughout the first half I mean it's obviously so we 78 minutes so uGudazi uletha so speed less uletha ne width eceleni
awuzodlala ke lapha kwesokunxele bese kuthi ke phambi kwakhe kuzoba khona ke uMhlongo okuyena ke oshaye ke igoli ke namhlanje ke layo ke iDurban Ladies 25 years lapha kuleli yafali layo ke iTsunami odinewo okabayi naye futhi ke musha bamsayine kuyona ke le season ke abayo ke iTsunami njengoba ke kuomunye ke abamsayinile nabo ke ozweni abadlali ke abasayinwe ke iTsunami ukuzama ukuqinisa ke leqembu ngoba nangesizini edlule bayivale ke belapha emsileni namanje futhi ke izinto azimprove ushintsho ke lincane kakhulu asibone nje Mpatsiya kodwa ke liphakeme ke iflag kuthiwa ke offside Nthabisengi Mazowe ama offside 6 ku Durban Ladies amabili ke kulona ke iqembu ke elayo ke iTsunami Queens athandeka Ngcobo ozolisusa ke leli yabhola ke elayo ke iDurban Ladies elanga liyabaxhopha ke manje lapha uMemory Makhanya kodwa ke kulabo awudlala ke ngakwesokunxele ke njengoba ke elikhiphela ke ngaphandle ibhola ke elayo ke laphana ke iDurban Ladies enye futhi ke i-throw in esikhathi ke siya ngokuya ke esiyophela akhumbule ke imbukeli ukuthi ke makuphela ke lo mdlalo khona omunye umdlalo olandelayo ke ophakathi kwema-Indies nayo futhi ke lapha iBloemfontein eCeltic hlengiwe Ntshiza ngakwesokunxele captain weDurban Ladies ebhola ke lifuna manje ejele alifiki kodwa ke ibhola kuyena ke ujele nangelwa laphana ke uMhlongo yavimba leya defense laphana ke emuva iyo le ima-Indies esuka ke Limpopo ke izodlala ke nayo ke iyona ke iCeltic asibone space ke ngakwesokudla Makhanya ecross enhle kaMakhanya eboxini ehlangana nomdunge angayibeka kamnandi umdukana lithuba lapha awuyabhakuza inethi elihle igoli ile Durban Ladies 2-1 iscore belibeka phakathi nje ekamnandi ngempela elisetsenziwe igoli leli isiphiwe besifeature ngakwesokudla belibeka kamnandi icross nje ebeyingozi leya cross
igoli lesithule lingena ngecross i-good finish from uNdlovu but bangayibheka kahle Thuli it was coming i concentration time for iTsunami bebheka le cross from Makhanya uHatebe clears, no one bapressa isikhathi sokupressa baya-delaya, and that is why uMhlongo had isikhathi esiningi sokuthi aterminate lapha. So kunama mistakes amaningi iTsunami wenzayo esesemkhulu umsebenzi. Yeah, badla imbuya ngothi.
Ayikho ngempela into ekade ezoyenza ugoalkeeper la. Elibeka nje lapha la sikhona ukuthi ngeke azafike ngisho esekhala ke yena ke edinewo okabayi. Ozamile yena kodwa ke kwasho kona ukuthi ke leli bhola ke elikude kakhulu. Uyabona ke uNdlovu Osibahle ungena ke khona manje ke kulesombe sesibili ungena endaweni kaNomfundo. Uthelezi awube uqalile ke umdlalo ke lapha ngesikhathi bedlala ke neUJ Usibahle namhlanje umqeqeshi wamdonsa wamqalisa ebhenchini. Nazi ke ithelo ngoba ubehleli ewubhekile umdlalo ukuthi mayengena yini engizofike ngiyenze ngoba ke umdlali mayesebhenchini ikona okubalekile ukuthi afunde igame abone ukuthi ikuphi la ngizofike ngingene khona ngishintshe umdlalo.
Mawumqeqeshi ama situation aso Thuli, especially wenze ushintsho bese ushintsho lenza impact egamini or lithola igoal njengoNdlovu, umqeqeshi uzizwa kahle kakhulu because ubona ngathi imisebenzi yami le isebenzayo manje.
15 minutes manje ke osele ukuthi ke Durban Ladies ithathe u3 points noma ke kusele 15 minutes ukuthi iTsunami siyibone ukuthi iyabuya yini ithole elinye igoli lokwenza u2-2.
It was only a mere 2 weeks ago that Durban Ladies found themselves in the drop zone, but it's been a monumental upturn in form, and Ndlovu there coming straight off the bench and getting herself a goal thanks to yet another influence from one of the right wing backs, Mdunge, with a lovely assist. And of course a beautiful left foot finish from Ndlovu. As we can see now, Tsunami Queens looking to respond, put it through, surely now, surely, can she get it finally? Durban Ladies somehow holding on. And Ngobo eventually getting some sort of a respite and relieving the pressure. The number 8 there, Molaba. The one that provided the assist for the first goal. Almost provided the assist for the second yet again.
Ramukali should have done better. I mean, unmarked, within the range of the goalkeeper, she could have done better to pick the spot. I think in that situation she was going through emotions in that situation. She could have picked up the spot and obviously terminate. We're talking something different now.
As Tsunami Queens looking really desperate to equalize here. With 14 plus minutes to go. As I did mention, the shots on target here, Tsunami Queens 5-4, but it's the scoreboard that reflects the truth, and it's not exactly the shots on target or the shots that count. It's the shots that go into the back of the net, and it's thus far Durban Ladies who are holding the trump card in that department. It's Makanya in some clear discomfort, not quite clearly back onto her feet, just maybe giving a chance for her and her teammates to get back into shape.
But I thought Mazoe got her angle. If you look at it from the slow motion, Makanya has been doing so well. I think you can see how she's been very influential. She's connecting every move or influencing the move.
Mhlongo almost sneaking it into the near post. Charmaine Mhlongo so near but yet so far for the Durban Ladies, and almost establishing a 2-goal advantage through on goal and almost getting her brace. When perhaps she could have maybe gone across goal instead of that near post. I don't know.
Sometimes as a striker you need to be selfish, Ray. If there's no option on the box, you go direct. I thought Mhlongo there got carried away. She could have gone for a pass. Well, obviously you could see she's a striker. The striker when they get to that area, they think about scoring.
And this time Makanya down and out. What a physical tussle there and a clash of bodies. Kiza, I beg your pardon. Both the number 2s there. Quite a heavy collision there. Do hope that Mkize is okay.
Yeah, you could see I think the aggression point of view, I don't think it's that physical. The game is that physical. It's just the innocent tackles from the players with no intention to hurt, obviously, the colleagues.
Interestingly enough, Durban Ladies haven't drawn this season. They've only managed to gather 3 wins and 4 losses. Just before they equalized, I was worrying for them because they did have that 1-goal advantage over UJ in that first half and gave it away, and UJFC sneaked away with a victory. So Tsunami Queens could have easily come back, but a really good response from Durban Ladies. They've been in the position before where they gave away a winning position, so they've learned from their mistakes clearly, and they now have an opportunity to perhaps edge ever further away from Tsunami Queens. On this right-hand touchline. A number of fans in attendance here this afternoon. My Indies and Bloem Celtic expected shortly after this encounter. Another Free State team in action later on, so do stay tuned for that one. But our attention remains here before we go ahead into that one. But a lovely touch there in the gather from Ramukale. Beautiful first touch, but the pass not quite matching the first touch there. Just a highlight there and a reiteration. Durban Ladies are through here. Surely now they can put this game to bed. And the easiest of chances taken by Ndlovu from the bench. 2 goals to a name. And the celebrations are well underway with all her teammates. A lady from the bench, a substitute impact player. Absolutely beautiful to see such a young talent getting onto the score sheet from the bench.
The body language from Tsunami says we've lost the game, because if you look from the slow motion, a diagonal ball played behind the defense, Ndlovu breaks out alone and unchallenged. I mean, obvious who will not score this goal. A good goal from Ndlovu, but Tsunami body language says we've already scored is 2-1, so we probably we've lost the game. So Utabi Mfukeng as a coach, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done psychologically, because the body language says the game is finished for Tsunami. I don't know why.
And a substitution expected shortly for Durban Ladies. Mkhize, number 10, but Durban Ladies now with a 3-1 advantage over the home side, Tsunami Queens, with only about 10 minutes plus to go in this encounter. Ndlovu coming on from the bench and proving to be the difference in this encounter. It seemed as if in that 3rd goal, the defense of Tsunami Queens just went missing, and Ndlovu the pouncing to perfection. But Ayanda Mkhize now on the ball from the bench. And Tsunami Queens come away with it once again. Molaba, the center of the park, midfield maestro, but this time it's the other one, of course, and it's a beautiful ball. Ndlovu's in for a hat-trick. Offside flag goes up. Hands on heads for Durban Ladies. Ndlovu almost helping herself to a hat-trick.
I thought at the time the ball was played, she was on onside position. The assistant got it wrong in that situation. Maybe she was too quick for the assistant. But I think Tsunami, if Nzapesa is not there at the back, you can see the struggle. The over-reliance on Nzapesa might come back as they have done for throughout the season.
Durban Ladies are really finding these passes really easily, and they threw once more. Slotted home. So close yet so far for this Durban Ladies. The chances are really pouring in now for the side from Durban. And Mhlongo, Charmaine Mhlongo having so much joy here on the right-hand flank, cutting back onto her left foot, just not quite managing to find some of her intended targets. And Tsunami Queens now finally journeying upfield and into the half of the Durban Ladies. She does need to travel back, however, Mazoy. Throw eventually goes in, and it's a long one. Evades the first head. And Molaba taken out there, and a free kick opportunity for Tsunami Queens on the left-hand flank. A chance to perhaps find the likes of Pulani and Nzapesa as well as Radebe from the free kick there.
You would see Nzapesa is gonna take the standard situation. I told you she's a threat when it comes to this action. So I think they've got nothing to lose now. She's gonna go directly to the goal.
Molaba, Tsunami Queens captain. Once again, another player out, and the coach, Tabuso Mofokeng, will be really scratching his head where exactly it went wrong for Tsunami Queens. But I have to say, from the get-go, they've been fighting not only the battle that is Durban Ladies, but maybe unseen forces that have played against them as well today. A number of injuries to their side.
You must pay attention to every post-match interview that he does, or the pre-match interviews that he does. He speaks about one thing: psychological impact or mental attitude of the players. Yes, the ability is there, but the importance is how do you apply yourself mentally.
And it's a red card shown there to one of the Tsunami Queens coaching staff. And it's all gone wrong here for Tsunami Queens. Just like a house of cards piling down. And it seems as if they really find themselves with their backs against the wall here. It's an encounter in which we saw the first half, both sides were exchanging jabs, but the gloves are firmly off here in the second half. As Pulani Nzapeza lines up for her free kick. It'll be interesting to see what she can muster up. She decides to go for it. Just missing it there. And back to you, Tuli.
Yabona ke la ngempela ke inkinga ziyanda kuyona ke iTsunami Queens. Njengoba ke beqeda ke kuthola ke i-red card nangomdlalo odlule i-red card ke yayikhona ke kule qembu uMufukeng omole bohangi wathola ke red card. Namhlanje assistant coach nayo ke nansi futhi ke ithola ke enye ke i-red card. Kodwa kamagoli ke laphana ke ebhodini mabili ku-Durban Ladies usibahle noma mathathu usibahle mabili. Amagoli ke akhe oqala ke kule season usibahle Ndlovu, kanti ke eloqala ke livalelwe phakathi uyena ke uMhlongo, ngapha ke uMpathiya uyena ke obeke phakathi ke igoli ke elihle ngempela ngekhanda ke kuyona ke iTsunami Queens. Imzuzu ke eyogcina iTsunami Queens vele ke imzuzu ke eyogcina bayawadedela amagoli, nanamhlanje nakho ke benza okufanayo. Amkwena ke ethi ke ulibeka laphana ke phambili ke ibhola, kodwa alimhluphi ke nakancane ke laphana ke uThandeka Ngcobo. Uyabona ke imidlalo elandelayo ye-Durban Ladies njengoba ke kuyabonakala ukuthi izinto ke zabo ke kancane ke ziba ke ziyaba ngcono, improve njengoba ke emidlalweni ke emine abayidlule bathole 9 points. Bedliwa ke iyona ke UJ ke yabaphuca ke iqatha ke emlomeni. Namhlanje ke 3 points. Izinto ke ziyacaca ukuthi ke owabo mabesuka la bazodlala ke ekhaya ke eThekwini, bedlala ke neRichmond United. Lo mdlalo ke uzobe nje ungolesithathu lolu ke esiya kulona. Emva kwalokho bazobe ke sebehamba ke beyodlala ke nayo ke ima-Indies eGiyani Stadium ke bese bephinde ke bedlala ke nayo ke lapha iTUT. Uzokhumbula ke lo mdlalo ke uwayo ke iTUT. Asibone nje la umulabo ibhola ke njengoba elifaka laphana ke boxing, kodwa ke uyavimba umshengu emuva. Yabona ke umdlalo weDurban Ladies neTUT, lowo mdlalo ke iwona mdlalo kwakufanele iDurban Ladies ivule ke ngawo ke isizini. Wase ke uhlehliswa ngesimo sokuthi kwakunezikhukhula ke eThekwini. Sekuyithuba ke lokuthi ke udlalwe ke manje lowo mdlalo ke uzodlala ke ngolesithathu olandelayo ke kuzobe ke unzima ngempela ke lo mdlalo. Sabona ke ukuthi ke zizohamba kanjani ke izinto ke kulona ke iqembu le-Durban Ladies, ngoba ke nayo ke iTUT ezinto zawo ke ziyaqala ke kancane manje ukuthi ke zilunge. Nangumemory obe nomdlalo omuhle kakhulu namhlanje uMakhanya, awube nomdlalo ke omuhle ke namhlanje yena ke uMemory Makhanya. Yabona ke iTsunami Queens iyona ke umdlalo wayo ke olandelayo ke izodlala neCity Ladies. Yabona ke lapho kuzobe kuhlangene amaqembu ngempela adonsa kanzima angayazi wini. iCity Ladies yase Eastern Cape ifika kule season ke kuyona ke iHollywood Bet Super League promoter ke kanye ke neVasco da Gama ayikakawini. Emva kwalokho bazodlala ke neUWC. Emva kwalokho bese ke baphinde badlale ke nayo ke iTUT. Asibone ke la uMpathiya othi uyadlulisa, kodwa ke uyavimba ke laphana ke emuva. Awumshengu uhlezi phansi ke manje ke uMemory Makhanya. Amkhize ongene ke khona manje ke engena ke endaweni ke yakhe Ncamisile. Ophume ke uMkhize kwangena ke omunye ke uMkhize. Oyangena ke bazombheka ke laphana ke uMemory Makhanya. Asibone nje nakwe la ethinteke khona. Ayena ke uMemory Makhanya bemngena ke ngemuva. Kodwa ke uyabona ke namhlanje oyisebenzele ke iDurban Ladies yena ke uMemory unesandla kuona ke womathathu ke amagoli ke abawatholile ke namhlanje. Ayena ke uMemory Makhanya njengoba ke ephumela ke lapha ngaphandle uzuhlungu la ehlombe. Ozwa ke ubuhlungu la ehlombe. Ayena ke uMemory Makhanya 33 years. Amakhanya ke njengoba ke kuthiwa ke abadlali ke manje ke laphana ke Nthabisenge Mazowe. Oyaphosa unikeza Nzapesa. Nzapesa naba manje bazama ukushaya ke bekude kodwa alibamba kahle kakhulu ke ugoalkeeper Thandeka Ngcobo. 90 minutes yavele ke yahlangana ke ebhodini. Kothiwa ke kuzokwengezwa 2 minutes nje kuphela. Bese ke umdlalo ke uyaphela. Ebhola ke lide kodwa ke uyavimba lapha Megi Hadebe. Awugoqe lo mdlalo Dr Mnandi ukuthi ke wena ke ubone kanjani iTsunami ikuphi ngempela okufanele ke bakwenze ukuze bakwazi ukunqoba imidlalo ngoba namhlanje bakore kuqala kodwa baphinda futhi babuya kamuva njengoba siwabheka nje amaphasi ayo ke laphana ke iDurban Ladies umhlongo oshaya igoli ke lokuqala ubheke nje engene eboxini ethi ukuvalela phakathi lephuma ke eceleni
beka uphethe umkhiye walo mdlalo umhlongo namhlanje but ukugoqa thuli ngithi apha mangawami ngishilo ngathi sisi somhambi singakanani iDurban Ladies bafike la indlala yebabonisile ukuthi bazothatha 3 points and bayithathile ngendlela efanekile umsebenzi sesemningi from iTsunami side mama ngazibhekile hey badla imbuya ngokuthi kulo season
lizokhala
izembe liyanuka manje
yabona kule season ngempela izembe liphakeme ngempela ngoba amaqembu awu16 amabili ke azodliwa ke izembe iTsunami njengoba ke benza ke kanje bedlala umdlalo ka9 iwini bengayazi njeka nayo Golden Ladies behlezi lapha emsileni ngempela ke izembe liloliwe kule season bazozithola ke ngempela ke bephuma ke kuyona ke iSuper League. Obuyile uMemory Makhanya 3 points izahamba ibuyele eThekwini inquma yodwa iDurban Ladies 3 points ekuhambeni Nzapesa ulokhu ezame njalo benaye ke uMolaba badlulisa kamnandi yena futhi ke uMolaba olishiya ke kuyena ke manje ke laphana ke lebonke Muloyi bafuna umphathiya kodwa oyavimba ayanda Amkhize akhiphela ke ngaphandle ke ibhola othiwa ke alibuye bazoliphosa ubatha kahle kancane ayekugebengu la uNthabisenge Mazowe njengoba ke esondela throw in bayiphosa wasayishaka kanye wayishaka kabili wayishaka thathu ke uNompempe indweba yakhe awuqeda ke umdlalo awuphela ke sithi ke 3 Durban Ladies 1 iTsunami Queens amagoli amabili ka Sibahle Ndlovu elilodwa ke lika Shameni umhlongo bese kuthi ke yena ke uMatsidiso Mphathiya uyena ke oshaye ke igoli ke lokubika ekhaya layo ke iTsunami ukuthi ke sihambile sayodlala eGoble Park nali igoli ke esibika ngalo ukuthi ke sifike ke sadlala ngempela ngale kwalokho 3 points uyahamba obheke khona ke eThekwini egagasini ke njengoba ke iDurban Ladies namhlanje ke ikwenze konke obekufanele ke ikwenze ukuze ke inqobe ke lo mdlalo umqansa uya ngokuya ke uyenyuka yabona umqeqeshi la uMakhaya ojabule ke ngempela ke uthi abadlali bakhe basebenzile umsebenzi ke omuhle ke kakhulu kanti ke ngapha ukuphoxeka nje obusebusweni ke bakhe laphana ke umphathiya ngemuva ke komsebenzi ke omuhle omngaka ezikhandla ke lapha kodwa ke lokho abengenele ngoba ke iqembu lakhe eligcine ke eliguqile liguqa ke ngamagoli ke amathathu kwelodwa ke nangu lapha lonke ke iqembu ke lihlangene ke laphana ke epalini. Durban Ladies ebonga ke abalandeli ke abakhona ke la enkundleni ukuthi ke siyabonga ngokuzokweseka. 3 points iyawuthatha ke kanjalo ke iDurban Ladies. Yabona ke isiqiniseko ke esaso ke iscore 3 Durban Ladies 1 Tsunami Queens. uNdlovu besuka ebhenchini wavalela ke phakathi ke amagoli ke amabili. Kanti ke mawubheka nje ama stats ukuthi izinto ke bezihamba ke kanjani 57% ku43. Kanti ke nayo ke iyellow card ke iyodwa. Kanti ke futhi Durban Ladies shots at goal 10 kwawu9. Kodwa ke thina izinto ke siyazigoqa thina ke la kwi commentary booth siyazithatha zonke intambo ngoba ke ukhona ke uvusiwe umntaka Ngcobo laphana ke ku touchline 3-1 full time score.
Ngibonge kakhulu ku commentary team yethu namhlanje made up of Thulisile Mia, Usphiwe Mkhonza as well as Ray Kuhn. Welcome to the SABC Sport family. But at the moment we are joined by Puseletso Sisele, who is the Free State Regional Administrator for HWBSL. Siswethu, please reveal to us, we're waiting in anticipation for that player of the match.
The player of the match is Memory Makhanya.
Memory Makhanya tatwethu ngena sikubone. Nangu siso sebenze kakhulu ngempela namhlanje. Memory, firstly congratulations on getting player of the match. Uzizwa kanjani ngomsebenzi owenze iqembu lenu namhlanje?
Ngibonga kakhulu sidlale kahle, although amanye amamesh siqale kabi kodwa now we picking up because it was very a tough game and zamile kakhulu.
And niyabona ukuthi kubalekile ukuthi nikwazi ukuthola lama victories nalamaphuzu ngoba phela kule season kune relegation.
Yeah, abaleke kakhulu engakho ngithi first 5 game asiqalanga kahle bekwa ama team tough kodwa manje sekuyehlela kancane so lokho siwa pick up kancane asijahile because marathon lesidlalayo yabo so sonke sifuna ukuwina ama game.
Certainly, and phambi kokuthi ngikudedele dadewethu awusitshela ukuthi uzizwa kanjani, sibonile ukuthi ucishe walimala kancane lapha ekugcineni phambi kokuthi uphume.
Kona noma ngilimele kodwa isosha kuthiwa lifele emsebenzini walo, so anything for the team yabo because besudinga lo 3 point namhlanje ubaleke kakhulu kuthina.
Congratulations, Dadwetu. That is the player of the match in today's encounter, Memory Makhanya. And we did see her also get a bit of an injury there towards the end of the game. We now do bring in the winning coach, Namhlanje Pepelo Makhaya. Coach, isikhulumile mina nawe usaqala umdlalo. Wangitshela ukuthi kunezinto eziningi enibonile ukuthi ziyinkinga kodwa nizokwazi ukuzilungisa namhlanje and ngempela nikwazile ukwenza lokho.
Yes, sisami siyajabula ukuthi sikhonile ukuthi siwalungisa ama mistakes as-costile on the previous game. It's good for a team going forward. We're taking one game at a time. So our focus is on our next game, which is on Wednesday. Then we'll take it from there.
I guess khulume mhlambe ngama substitutes owayenzile ngoba sibonile ukuthi awenze umehluko omkhulu kakhulu. I mean, in the midfield we saw Ndlovu coming in for Buthelezi and eventually also the person finding the back of the net for the team twice in this encounter as a super sub.
Yeah, I think it's all about what he came demandayo. Then you observe what you have, ukuthi game tingani ngaleso sikhathi, then ukwazi ukuthi introduce lo muntu, which is we did it and it's worked for us.
Congratulations, coach, your first victory against Tsunami Queens and 3 points.
Yes, best stop kickers. Thank you very much.
The curse is certainly broken. One man who's not smiling at this moment is Tsunami coach Thabiso Mofokeng. Coach, haliqeda khufumana goal yawo equalizer. It almost seemed like the team was coming back, especially in that second half. We saw you changing your play defensively in terms of moving that defensive line. Mara kajehu, it didn't work out again for you.
Ebonile nna tabi ina na ba fektu into tse tse grounding ka mona le yona le tsa rona sentse le kopana le tsona tseo ba thotse ngata stress
tse ngata. Coach and le rebone le gore Boitumelo Molotsi getting her injury in the first half, and we spoke at the beginning of this game on how the team inalidi challenges on and off the field, but how do you eventually overcome that psychological and mental challenge for the players tsa lona gore le gone go bapala le win the game?
What's by ina na se hloka bona individual a se nna fela tla ba thusa le bona tshwantse ba ithuse motho ha liwana tsebe gore na team e hloka eng re na le mathata kae and then re tlameha ra solve re le kaofela re le team a se motho a iwana ka etsa team ena kae ka builda team ena ke le one le ka bona ba ka nthusa ba thola ntho re e batlang.
Unlucky here, coach, today. Good luck for your next encounter.
Thank you.
That is, of course, Coach Thabiso Mofokeng-Wayo in Tsunami Queens, the home side here today. Unfortunately, unlucky not being able to find that first victory that they've been searching for so far in the HWBSL Super League. Godwa Durban Ladies happy here today. They've secured themselves 3 points and their first ever victory against Tsunami Queens. They say that the curse has finally been broken. It was Ushamane Mhlongo who found the opener in the 30th minute, giving her team that 1-0 advantage going into the halftime break. It looked like the Tsunami Queens defensively, they were getting better, but it actually was not to be. They did, although, manage to equalize. Finding the back of the net twice to make it 3-1 in this encounter. And that's how we wrap up the first one for today. It is, of course, a double-header Sunday. We're still bringing you Bloemfontein Celtic up against my Indies at 2:30. That is when the build-up will start on SABC 1. And, of course, we have the 3 ladies in studio. Zondo, Gloria Brown, as well as Usimpiwe coach Lulu. Do stay tuned. A lot more action coming your way in the second encounter.
Welcome to Sports Wrap as we guide you in the next half hour with the biggest stories in the world of sport. We have late drama as Swallows FC get their promotion relegation playoff campaign off to a positive start. We also have the business end of the French Open tennis at Roland Garros and a basketball update from the Boston Celtics camp. All this and more coming your way on Sports Wrap. But right